You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Here's a tip, Basilio. Get to your show on time. As we welcome you into another edition, it is your Chilio Show. We're live with you. We're fired up, focused, and prepared. Shout out to Rob and Brian over at Carnes Motor. You guys have fired me up, focused me, and prepared me. We have a huge hour of power out in front of you anyway. I don't know what the rest of the show is going to be like. But I know this first hour is going to deliver, and that's all that counts. You know, you hook them in the first hour. And then you see, you kind of go from there. But I'm pretty pumped right now. We're watching and waiting and trying to see what Tennessee is going to do here with the rest of the portal here and trying to determine exactly what's going on where. And I'm working my sources, as they say in the trade. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This has been quite a ride. And it's been really interesting. And now the portal's closed, but it doesn't mean the activity's done, because it's far from it. Now you got a bunch of programs, a bunch of who's who programs in the deal that are in absolute scramble mode. Tennessee's not one of them. Tennessee, if they don't lift another finger, has done a really nice job. I'm assuming that Juke Harris ends up here and doesn't go to the NBA. And so the Vols are, you know, they're not in the scramble mode that some are, but they're still trying to find a couple key pieces. And last night we told you, and I don't have access to the portal itself because they've restricted that for media people. So I don't know if PG1 jumped in or not, but here we are. Here we are. I've got a couple texts out to see exactly what the lay of the land is. In the meantime, Lance Cormier is going to join us coming up here in a few minutes. We're going to set the tone for the Alabama series. Alabama-Tennessee tomorrow after the Vols offense got on track last night. Hopefully Brown's offense is here to stay as Tennessee run-rolled poor Lipscomb, who got caught in traffic yesterday, couldn't even get their warm-ups in. That's sort of some bad high school stuff there, but hey, it happens. But here we go. We've got lots to get to. Watson Brown's going to join. You know, the NFL draft sort of snuck up on us tomorrow up in Pittsburgh, where tonight my Flyers get a chance to really put their foot on the Pens, but you don't care about that. But we've got a lot to talk about, I think is what I'm trying to say here. And over on the blog, I discussed the closing of the portal. There's also a word there just about what they've done so far. What C and I are going to do is we're going to climb inside the recruitment of some of these guys and tell some of the backstories and sort of get into that. And I think do a standalone video on that, I think is what we're planning on doing. But this is pretty fun. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. All right. Sean Sinclair, welcome in.
Thank you, Tony.
What's your level of fired upness for this upcoming series, and what are your thoughts on how aggressive Tennessee has been in the transfer portal?
I don't follow it like you do. I've just kind of and what's interesting, I noticed today that I've never heard you name PG1.
No,
I've asked you off air. I've sent you texts. You've declined.
Yes.
To give me a name.
Yes.
I've not heard you say that, and yet on a couple of chat sites today, you were getting ripped because a certain fella from Vanderbilt may or may not have gotten in.
Yes.
And they were looking forward to watch you crawdad back from that. And haters gonna hate, I suppose.
Well, that is who they were going. I
but you never said that to my knowledge.
I can say that's who they were going after. They were in contact. Well, here's the deal.
But you never said that. Though, correct?
I never said it was him, and I never said he was coming here. People are idiotic. People hear what they want to hear. I don't worry about it. As you and I have talked about, the reason this show has exploded in popularity is we talk about things in real time.
Yep.
But what I don't get credit for is saying Tennessee had a cachet and is spending more money than they've ever spent. Nobody else was saying that. I said it. It's true. What I don't get credit for is saying they were going to go totally offensive in this class, which is exactly what they've done. But I don't worry about the critics, and they're trying to poke at me on the YouTube chat right now, but I'm going to ignore that because here's the thing. I've got a show they don't. I've been here doing this 32 years. They haven't. I know people they don't. Tennessee's was in contact with that kid's agent since January. They've been trying to work this, and they got to the point where, well, the head coach was telling some people they thought they had it done a few weeks back. And a couple prominent boosters were telling people in the community they thought they had it done. But apparently the kid just never entered the portal. So that's what happened. If that would have happened and that kid would have gotten in the portal, it would have set off a seismic graph and it would have registered on the Richter scale and would have really shaken up the establishment. Tennessee was going to pay that kid $7 million. Now, they can deny that. Everybody can deny that. The fact that it didn't happen doesn't mean it wasn't on the back burner, wasn't on the front burner, wasn't about to happen. And those that know. Those that cover that basketball program, let me tell you this. Those that cover the basketball program had pre-writes ready to go. You know what a pre-write is? A pre-write is when a story drops, we just hit a button because it's already there. That's truth. You can poke around on that. They already had pre-writes. How do I know? Because I talk to these people. We all trade information with each other. But I'm the one nutty enough to say it out loud because I thought it was interesting to watch and to see if it was going to come to fruition. But yeah, it was Tyler Tanner. It was Tyler Tanner. And, you know, and they came very, 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 very close to getting him into that portal. Very close. So, and I had Maury, you know, kind of poke around on him, and Maury was hearing the same things we were, which is why Maury came on here and said, yeah, and on him, because we did a thing on Juke Harris and a deal on him, the blind point guard deal. But Tennessee, the thing is that Vanderbilt stepped up their financial commitment to him, but they're not paying him anywhere near what Tennessee was going to pay him. Tennessee was basically going to double what he was going to make at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's paying him like $3 million. But the kid, at the end of the day, decided to stay there. And here's the backstory on it. Rod Clark really rubbed the family, and I'm just going to say it because it is what it is. It's all water under the bridge now. He's at Indiana now. But he rubbed the family the wrong way in the recruitment of that kid when Tennessee had a chance to get him the first time. And if people want to shoot at me all you want. But it didn't make their pursuit of him not real, because it's very real. They very much were trying to get him in the portal. They could deny that. That's fine. I've never worried about things like that, Sean. As I've said before in here many times, first of all, I've been doing what I'm doing for 32 years, and we have thousands and thousands of listeners and hundreds of thousands of dollars in sponsorship. So I'm not worried about what people say. Okay, I never have been. The second thing is that Tennessee's pursuit of Tyler Tanner was extremely real. Extremely real. But the father, I don't think could come off what happened before with the assistant coach here, who's no longer here. But it's all water under the bridge now. So, and here's my thing about it. I say this about Rick Barnes. Whether you get the kid or not, here's what I have for you and your staff. because you guys have shown me through this whole cycle that it's not whether you get it done 100%, 100%. Nobody's going to bat 1,000. But if you get in the box enough and you swing enough and you're aggressive enough in the transfer portal, you just might find you get what you need. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. And I still have a belief that Tennessee's still looking to add a point guard. And what I can't determine is, now that that didn't happen, were they able to lure somebody else in at the 11th hour, or is there someone else in the portal they have their eyes on that they can come to terms with? Because now what you've got is, like Maury said yesterday, soon you're going to get into 2 at 10 mode. But I never said the kid was coming. I never spoke of anybody in the and never will saying somebody's coming. I said, but if they could pull it off, can you imagine, Sean, what the reaction would have been, or Brian Hartman, more to the point, because you more follow the sport, if they would have gotten a guy who's National Player of the Year candidate from a league rival, how incredible that would have been? How incredible would that have been? Brian, what do you got?
Incredible, and it would be so off-brand for this place.
Yep.
As far as basketball, I think it'd be great. It's just interesting to me. I posed a question before and got ripped about it, and I'll pose another question, and presumably to get ripped again. I asked before if throwing more money at Rick Barnes changes that of the future, meaning you get better. Who knows? We'll never know that.
Yeah.
My question now is that we've thrown a lot of money at some very good players, it looks like.
Yeah.
But will we have a complete team? We'll have some nice pieces, but you take a look at the past 2 years, Florida had a complete team.
Yeah.
Michigan had a complete team.
Yeah.
Do we have a nice collection of players? Because, as you said, the leverage has switched now that the portal's closed to the player and the agent. Now people are scrambling to fill. And, you say Kentucky, we certainly still have holes on our team. So where does that leave us, do you think? And I'm just going to throw one more cup of gas on the fire. Look, the sheep will always bow down to their oracle that reads yesterday's news.
That's correct.
I mean, that's just the way it's going to be.
I'm dealing in things in real time.
Anybody that comes in real time with some real time information,
right,
without a paywall, I might add.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're going to get excoriated, but the sheep love their oracle.
That's okay.
And the oracle just sits on high and reads yesterday's newspapers.
It's fine. Here's the thing. Here, as Mike Keith said, everybody's got a role here. Obviously, I have one. I've been here for 32 years. I'm not Danny White's cup of tea. They probably don't want out there that they were pursuing this kid, but they were. It doesn't, and I applaud it. I think it's wonderful. Because here's the thing. Everybody's recruiting players off everybody else's roster. It's not like you're trying to do it during the year. It's not like, you just talk to agents during the year. It's how this is done now. And you get a solid, from the agent, we're interested in talking. And then you just have talks, and you just kind of talk it out. And they admire and love that Tanner kid. And they think he would have been the missing piece. And people that say, well, once the Hill kid committed, they went off that, it's just not true. It's just not true. Now, the Hill kid and the kid from Cal give you, like we said before, even if you don't add a point guard from here, they got 4 guys who can handle the basketball. If the Harris kid comes, because he wants to play some point too, because he's hearing from the NBA folks, hey, we want to see you with the ball in your hands a little more, and that's all fine and well and good. As far as a complete team, Sean, that's not for me to determine. That's for them to determine. I know this. They'll have a better team than they had last year. Now, I don't know how the pieces are going to fit together. Let me back up. They're got more talent than they had last year. In terms of what that means for a team, I have no idea. I mean, when Indiana signed all their talent, how did we know what it was going to look like? Certain other programs, in terms of what it looked like. But, in the way we did this story and talked about it, I would do it all over again. Why? Because it was true. And it was happening. And it was accurate. And if it would have come to fruition, it was going to be incredible. And if it didn't, I always said I was going to tell you who it was and pat them right on the back for trying. And I, by the way, want a head football coach that comports himself in the same way in the transfer portal. We are a heavyweight in that sport and should act accordingly. Tennessee is a heavyweight in college basketball right now. You tell me the last time, because Nega Dave told me, they're not going to get so-and-so, so-and-so. He's going to Michigan. Okay, he didn't go to Michigan. He going to North Carolina. He didn't go to North Carolina. He going here. He's going there. The guy's going to come here. And then with the Hill kid, well, he's visiting Kansas. He'll never come back here. Really? All right. Tennessee they're beating those types of teams heads up for guys. The Lumblade guy. Well, he's got Duke on his deal. You'll never get him. Really? Okay. Not only did they get him, they got him in here reading the fine print and did it up and knocked it out of the park. So here we go. I'm fired up. I love it. I love what they did. I'm excited. I'm pumped. We need to start throwing our weight around in the football transfer portal. Those are faxes. People don't want to hear that. Those are faxes. Hey, it's my alma mater. I want to win. Listen, I'm selfish. We here are more profitable when we're winning. There's a misconception about what we do. Oh, you lose and the shows are fun. Maybe the shows are funny to you. They're not funny to me. And nothing, like me and Russell Smith were just talking, there's nothing more miserable than when you're losing. And by the way, it kills your revenue. It kills your revenue. Dirty little secret, okay? You start losing, and it kills your revenue. Lance Cormier. Yes, Brian, on the other side?
That's Lance Cormier.
Lance Cormier on the other side keeping... Why do I keep want to call... I make that mistake all the time with him, don't I? In fact, I called him that last year, didn't I? Lance Cormier keeping it real on the other side after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Join your Knoxville Smokies today for our final matinee game of the season. First pitch is at 12:30 with all-you-can-eat lunch.
Got to get out and see the Smokies this week. The weather is so nice here. So nice. So incredibly beautiful. Say nothing of the pollen. The pollen here is, whew. Especially when your nose is my size. When your nose is my size, it's what we call no joke. But we visit now with a friend of the program, a guy who knows his stuff when it comes to the SEC and also when it comes to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And we got one of these Thursday-Saturday series. They get right upon you. You know, Tennessee played their Tuesday night game last night, and Lance Cormier now joining. And Lance, your thoughts on, as I welcome you, and it's always great to talk to you, my friend. You're such a friend of the show, but also I've always found you to be a great advocate for the sport of college baseball. You have a great joy in talking about the sport.
Oh, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me in. I mean, it's just a sport that, you know, fell in love with early and growing up loving, and, you know, as much of a fan as anything else. And so, heck, I mean, if you can't love college baseball with just for the most part, I mean, there are kids out there playing, right? I mean, like, fans go crazy, you know, because of a good weekend, and they're wanting to kill you the next weekend, right? But that's what makes this fun and fun to follow. But man, it's been great, and let's talk some ball.
You know, they've been the Vols for a while here made this thing look so easy, and we had people like me that kind of thought that was going to be the reality of the whole deal. People like you knew eventually the thing was going to cool off for them. I don't know if we thought it would cool off to this extent, but to a lot of our fan base, their entree into the sport was, we're going to dominate the thing. They were never, ever, 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 even if Tony Vols would have stayed, they were never going to keep up the pace that they played at when they had their real surge in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, heck, it could be worse, right? You could be sitting where LSU's at. I mean, same exact kind of story for both programs, two of the highest programs in the last 5 years, even 10 years, and there's going to be a downtick. I mean, sooner or later you hit on every transfer portal, every freshman, sophomore to junior that you have in the program. It's just going to have a little downtick. It's just a matter of, do you let the downturn turn into a 3-5 year period where that's something that Tennessee and LSU notoriously haven't done in the last 10 years, right? Even if they've had a little down year, they picked it right back up. Now, I do think a big portion of Tennessee's struggles have been the change at the top, right? I mean, not taking anything from the leadership now, but anytime you have a change, especially with a polarizing figure like Tony V was, I mean, that's one of those things that you're going to have some kind of change, and that's what they're seeing. Now, when you get to the point where you get on the field, they're not hitting like they have been in the past. They're not pitching like they have been in the past, and especially when it comes to conference, it makes it even worse. I mean, like the average overall is okay, but then you get the conference, and like anybody's, it's going to be lower, but like theirs is a lot lower. The pitching has really been kind of the issue, and for the most part, to me, it's been more of the bullpen, not necessarily the starters. It seems like that you're losing games late, but I mean, this is something where every program's going to deal with it, right? Vanderbilt's going through it the last couple of years. And to me, all of it says is just the parity in the game is at the highest it's ever been in that way. Any team, any weekend, doesn't matter now, home and road, because we're seeing more road teams win series in conference than we ever have. So I think the parity is just there.
You mentioned that, right? Tennessee goes on the road. Mississippi State sweeps the series. They come back against Ole Miss and can't hit the baseball again. Just when you think you've got the answers in the league this year, it is just so wild how it's just so hard to get a grasp on how this whole thing's going to shake out. Like, I can't even tell you who's going to make the tournament and who's not. And, here we are in the second half, and it's bizarre almost, the year so far in the league.
Well, man, like you just said that, right? You got 9-9 and up. That's 11 spots. I mean, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Alabama are sitting at 9-9, and they're 9th, 10th, and 11th in the league. Tell me a league that you're 500 in the league and you're sitting at 11th. And then Kentucky, Tennessee, 8 and 10, that's 13th. I mean, can those three teams make it, right? I mean, 13 has kind of been the number that if you get to it, so that's 5 more wins in the next 12. So can you go 5 and 7 in the next 12? You feel like, man, I feel like I can do that, right? And then you're in the tournament. And that's kind of where Tennessee, Kentucky are sitting. And like, I don't think any coach, if you really ask them, they could explain the league this year. They might, and I think some coaches, if you truly got them with nobody else and nobody judging, they would go, man, I really don't know how good we are, or I don't know how bad we are, because one weekend we look like world beaters like Tennessee did going into Starkville. I mean, like, they caught Mississippi State after that Georgia sweep, and heck, just going to Starkville is a tough place to play, much less winning the series and then sweeping. And they had lost 6 straight at home, and then they go on the road and win and sweep. So it's like, you just don't know what's going on week in and week out. I mean, and that's, when you think about it, I mean, they are kids. They're 18 to 23-year-olds playing ball. The ball bounces different ways. Starting pitching sets the tone. What they don't show up that weekend, it's going to be a tough weekend. The teams are getting older. The lineups are getting deeper. So it just shows you that, man, it doesn't matter who you are, what name's on the front of your jerseys, how tough the place is, notoriously been to play. Like, you better show up every day, because every team in the conference can beat you.
How much? Hey, let me ask you something, because I watch these kids now. I'm in my late 50s, and my son played golf, college golf, and you go out there and you watch your kid play, and you're just like you just die 1,000 deaths, But they're living their lives, and you had your career, and I do my thing and play my music, and you just kind of have to separate things. How hard is it for you, as somebody that played as much ball as you played? Before we talk about Alabama, your son's pitching at Auburn and getting like SEC work, which, in his first year there, that's a hell of a thing. That's heady stuff, as you know. How hard is it for you to watch that? Or are you able to detach yourself?
Man, as you're talking, I have chills just as you're talking because it is cool. Like like last night, he actually really cool night, special situation. Came in a game at the Hoover Met. They were playing Stanford. Came into the third inning, 2 guys on, punches out 2, gets out of it. Next inning, 3 straight punch outs, ends up they 10-run rule Stanford, and he gets credited with a W. That's his first college win.
Nice.
It was, and he didn't even know. It's one of those where no one knows right until the end of the game when the official scorer kind of, gives it out. I thought there was a shot early on, but then I just forgot about it. I see him doing some interviews, and I'm like, oh, wait, let me check something. And he didn't even know the guy doing the interview said, hey, man, congrats on your first college win. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And so, special moment. But, man, like you said, it's not my career anymore. It's his. And, I think if you kind of – there's some inner things like, yes, there is some nervousness. There's some anxious, I guess, not nervousness, anxiousness. Like, hey, I wish I could go out there and help him in certain situations. But, man, he's handled himself so good, so poised. And, I think – that's what a lot of parents will ask us, like, how do you sit so still? And because we know that it's not, be and end all, life or death, every outing. One of the things my wife used to say is, we don't have to move. I know C.J. Nikowski gets credited like that's his wife came out and said that, like, how do you help your son through a bad outing? He's like, well, good thing we don't have to move like we did when your dad had one. That was legitimately how my career was at the end of it. So you're going, man, it's no big deal, right? Go out there and compete. And so it's fun to watch, man, getting him, because then it just stirs up all the emotions of, man, I remember my first win. I remember those types of opportunities and getting to get out there. And so it's been fun. But that's also, too, man, that's what he's dreamed of. So no matter what, good, bad, or indifferent, like, he's doing what he loves to do. And so, man, like, you gotta enjoy those moments being out there, even if you have success or don't, because you love doing it, and it just fuels you for the next time.
Well, that's my thing. And I had the advantage that you don't have, which is with golf, I had nothing to offer my son because I don't play the sport. My golf swing, if I continued to play that sport and wouldn't have started playing music, I probably would be using some kind of assisted device for walking, and I'm not kidding. My swing was awful. Couldn't have been good for your back. And, in a lot of ways, but you haven't played in the major leagues. I would imagine for a kid like LJ, that's got to put a little pressure on him, right? That's got to be hard.
Well, again, that's the tough part, too. I don't know what that feels like for him, right?
Right.
Try to stay away from a lot of things, try to not get involved in those types of avenues for him and let him, experience those for himself. I still am the dad that in his eyes sometimes doesn't know better, right? No matter what I did. Sometimes I need to, hey, Coach, can you explain to him this way? Because he keeps, this is what I'm trying to get across. I need you to do it because it's going to come better from you. And so those are still have that, but that's the parent-child relationship, I think, where, kids just don't think parents know best a lot of times. And we tend to do, especially if we've gone through it. But, I think that's what I'm trying to do is keep myself so far removed from his parts of it so he can experience all those things on his own. And so far I think he's, doing a great job. Every now and then, there'll be a call, hey, what about this? And so if I just basically bite my tongue when I don't want to and just let him come to me, that seems to be the best approach so far.
Yeah, something about fathers and sons that you just have to understand is that, and I've had other baseball dads who have played at real high levels with their kids. They say, and I get this, you almost got to wait for your son to come to you and seek advice rather than you giving advice, because they're not going to listen to their dad. You're going to listen to anybody else but your father. We're all the same, right?
You're exactly right. All those relationships, very, very similar, and you'll go like, hey, but like, do you see your best friends like asking me questions?
Yeah.
And they're wanting to hear, but you don't want to hear. But again, it's just a dynamic that you kind of got to go through. And you're right. That's the best way is to let him come to you and let him have the questions as opposed to you bringing the information that you want him to have.
All right, let's talk about the Tide. They're kind of middling like the Vols, like sort of the rest of the league. Like 1 minute you think they're there, and the next minute they're wherever they are. They're in outer space somewhere. They come in this weekend, obviously a dangerous opponent, but the LeBron kid's really been – he's such a like Rolls-Royce-y kind of player, right? But second year in a row, he's ripped apart non-conference pitching, but he struggled in SEC play. And listen, we have a panoply of guys like that at Tennessee right now that hit the non-league pitching, but can't hit it in the SEC. What has kept him from being an effective SEC hitter thus far?
Man, like that's the question that I think everybody wishes they could answer. Because that's the only thing that's probably keeping him out of the top 3 discussion when it comes to the Major League Baseball draft.
Yeah.
Tools-wise, he might be the most toolsy guy in the draft.
Yes.
I had a high-ranking official in a Major League organization last year that said we would not, if he was able to come out in the draft this year, we would pick him number 1, right? That was the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And in the stands, he's texting me, he's like, look, he tell me why we shouldn't love him at number 1. And I'm like, there's a lot to love. And obviously he couldn't come out in the draft. They picked the shortstop Willits from Oklahoma, and they're going to roll with him. But no matter what, he just presents so much that to love. But I think it's just, I don't know if it's a draft year, because this year he struggled a lot more this year than last year. The draft does affect guys in different ways, and there's no doubt you can see it every year. Some guys, it fuels them, and they have career years. Some guys, it weighs on them every single game, and you could tell. When you start to look at, he's got 15 errors. I think he had 17 errors as a freshman and sophomore combined, and he's got 15 this year. So,
Jeez.
That's one of those things where now he gets the balls that a lot of guys don't get to.
Right.
He makes plays that other guys can't make. So you're going to be okay with some errors. But I think it's just a matter of when it comes to conference play, there, in a sense, there hasn't been much around him, especially last year, protection. So it's almost like he feels like he has to do it. Now, that's my words. That's not his feelings.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to talk with him about that.
Yep.
But I think that's the case. And then he goes up there, and it's a lot of chase because, man, he's trying to do too much. But that's the biggest thing. If he stops chasing balls and lets pitchers come to him, to me, that's going to be how he breaks out of it. But again, the league is just that good, right? The pitchers, the stuff, everything is there. So you expect some downturn, just not as much as he's had.
Great Lance Cormier joining us. He's a multiple-year Major League Baseball player, played for multiple organizations. That's nearly impossible to get to the major leagues. It's so damn hard. And you talk about the era we're in, the world level game that the game of baseball has become. Before we get back to BAM, I got to ask you this question. If we were talking about underrated guys in sports, somehow this Otani guy's underrated. I don't know how that is. I guess he plays on the left coast. Somebody like you that played that sport, right, and knows how damn hard it is to hit a Major League Baseball or throw a baseball, okay, for that matter. What does a guy like you, when you watch somebody like that, what do you do when you watch that kid play baseball?
You become the biggest fan. That's all you could say is you just sit there in awe. And, there's very few guys. You used to always hear stories from the veteran players when we were there that had played in the era where Mark McGwire was, and they're when he hit batting practice, you went in the dugout and you watched. I don't care what you were doing. Basically, you didn't care what you were doing in the clubhouse. Everybody stopped and they went and watched him hit batting practice because it was such a show that you were like, we've never seen this. And so, when the best of the best in the world become ultimate fans of those guys, right? You're talking Bonds, you're talking Griffey, at times Pedro and Big Unit, where you're just like, man, these dudes are that good. And you can respect the fact that, I've made it and I've got there, and yes, I'm in the big leagues. We get dressed in the same clubhouse. There's something special about this guy that there's no way I'm going to reach that level. And Shohei Otani is no question on another level when it comes to not only just take him as a hitter or take him as a pitcher. he is one of the best in the game at both of those. But then when you combine them both and what he gives you, obviously the guy's worth anything that they want to pay for him.
It's nuts.
Probably worth more than what the Dodgers pay for him when it comes to just a return on investment. Not necessarily just the field, but just everything when it comes to having the name Otani on the back of a Dodgers jersey. You know, Andrew Friedman and them could have paid him $1 billion and they still would be winning.
Here's the thing, right? You and I are in football country, okay? I don't know how, in football terms, with the draft upon us, right? If you had a prospect like that in the NFL draft, what would that kid be able to do on a football field? Obviously, he'd be the best quarterback in the league. And then you would turn around, play him on defense, and where would he play? Like, what would he do? Like, I don't even know how you can put into words what this kid is doing, and he does it so effortlessly. And his swing is so strange looking, too. That's the other thing about him. But the bat's in the zone forever.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so, like, your example, he'd have to be the quarterback and the edge rusher. Right?
There you go.
So
there you go.
He'd come in on third. I mean, like, Travis Hunter, they're trying. I mean, it's a two-way player. Like, it's there, but, like, okay, it's a wide receiver. Guess what? You only get the ball if the quarterback can get it to you, so he's the more important guy. And then, he's a DB, but, you know, the guys that are getting paid are the ones that are rushing off the edge and getting the quarterback. So, like, that's just where you're at, and you're going, golly, it's just so special, man, to watch. And I guarantee you, you know, it's a really cool thing to be able to, you know, be on the team, but, like, just as a full-on fan of the game, like, anytime you get a chance to see him, you should lock in and get a chance to watch.
That's you're on the money. Here's the thing. Back to Bama. This Tide team, the rotation behind Fay, who threw a no-hitter with Florida earlier in the season. Tell me about what we're going to see this weekend behind Fay, who we know can do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, if you want to say, hey, like, what's Alabama's strength? No doubt it's the rotation. You have three guys in Fay, Zane Adams, Miles Upchurch, that have taken the ball all 10 weeks. Overall, you're looking at, when you look at overall numbers, the freshman with 5-2 and a 3.05 ERA has the best numbers. Now, he's a guy that is like, hey, it might be 3 innings, it might be 2 innings and he's out, it might be 5 innings like he just did, 5+ innings against Texas on the road, and you're going, well, dang, we've seen that all year. You're talking about a superstar in the making, which I still believe he is. Zane Adams is going to take the ball game 2, lefty, so they go right with Fay, left with Zane Adams, and right with Upchurch. Adams is a guy, again, sitting with a 3.67 ERA. Loving, you know, the fact that he got experience last year, was draft eligible, just didn't kind of like where he finished up the season. So come back to the league, take the ball, you know, every single weekend, show the scouts that you're durable, and that's exactly what he's done. Guy averaging a little over 5 innings per start. And, I mean, it's high-quality stuff from the left side, up to 94, 95, cutter, slider change, but a guy's going to compete. And that's, for the most part, is where Alabama is. If they have a shot to come to Knoxville and leave with a series win, it's because the starters set the tone. And you mentioned Fay. I mean, he brings that kind of stuff. When you look at overall numbers, he probably has, you know, the ERA is a little higher, but, I mean, that could be a bad game. You know, it's not a big deal. Peripherals, he's got the best stuff. And to me, when it comes to, I mean, it's up to 97. It's funky. It's 3/4. It's, you know, running this way, cutting that way. And so, I mean, and anytime you throw a no-hitter in the league on a Friday night, you have to respect the stuff. So Tennessee's going to have their hands full with the rotation. Now, can you do what Tennessee used to do and make the guys be at, you know, 95 to 100 pitches in 5 innings or 4 1/3, and you get into the bullpen? That's how you're going to win ball games. I mean, that's overall in the league. That's what you have to do. You have to get that starter out. You know, broadcasting these games is you get to there and you're like, you're cruising through 7. We're like, oh, dude, we're going to have a 2-hour, 12-minute game, and then all of a sudden the 8th and 9th inning, we're at 250, and it's like, all right, here we go.
Well, we had a thing here. I don't know if you saw it, because this stuff flies at you, but these Sunday games can turn into slow pitch softball in a real hurry. No offense to my friend Bino, Jeff Henderson, who's in the Hall of Fame. He's the king in his court of Knoxville. Well, I guess the king in his court was fast pitch. At any rate, I'm dating myself. Nobody knows what that reference is. You might. Okay, you remember the king. So here.
My dad's in the Louisiana Softball Hall of Fame.
Let's go. Let's go, my friend. Let's go. So here's the thing. We had a game a couple weeks ago that's in the extra innings, and we lose double-digit runs. To your point, once you get into somebody's pen in this deal, I mean, where it stops, nobody knows. But the question for you is, how many lefty arms does Tennessee see this weekend with the Tide?
I think you're going to see probably 4. You're definitely going to see Adams. No doubt you'll see Heiberger. He's kind of like their first, he's coming out of the pen first. Ashton Crowther has been just a godsend for Alabama out of the bullpen. Guy who was just kind of getting meaningless innings, and like, he's kind of getting some outs, and then you're like, all right, a little bit better, and he's finishing. He got the save on Sunday. So, like, he's starting to put himself in. You got Steckmester. Steckmester.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an opportunity to get in there. I mean, only a couple conference outings, but Heiberger's got 9, and Crowther's got 6. So you're going to see at least those 3 guys. And if you're seeing Steckmester, most likely you're in a spot, Tennessee, you're okay because you probably have the lead and you feel really good about it.
On the way out, how do you think Alabama responds this week on the road? Because just when I think, somebody that you can't win in somebody's building, everybody's winning everybody's building right now. I don't know what that's about in this league, but that's kind of what's going on in the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be tough. I think you have 2 teams that are both in that same spot where, like, man, like, this is like, I mean, we can't say, you need a must-win ball game, but, like, this is a series where, as you're going into, week 7 to try to create some momentum toward the end of the season, especially for Tennessee, Alabama's sitting in a much better spot, even though it's only one game. But just the who they play coming up is not quite as difficult. So you're thinking, like, Tennessee has to do it. They have to figure it out. They have to turn around. So I look for Tennessee. I don't think this is a sweep situation. I think this is a 2-1. And like most series, you're going to have one game where the home team's going to probably take advantage early and coast, or maybe not coast, but then there's going to be one game that could go either way. You're going to have, the tying run to the plate, most likely, whether it's an Alabama win or a Tennessee win, and then you flip a coin on Sunday or Game 3 Saturday for y'all to see what happens. That's just kind of how the conference goes, man. When you look up, there's always an opportunity to win the ball game in those late innings. It's just, for me, who hits with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, and what bullpen gets it done. That's how it's going to set the tone.
Hey, on the way out, and my best to you, my best to your son, and I really appreciate you being with us, and you've put up with me calling you like Riel on here like 4 times, so you're a good man. and once I do that, and I know you're in sales too, once you do that, it's always in the back of your mind, don't call this person by whatever name. So I just get it out there. It's kind of like when you have something on your shirt, you spill coffee on your shirt, and you're at a sales appointment. You walk in there and you wear it, and you go, hey, look at what I just did, man. Look at what an idiot I am. Look at this stain on my shirt. Instead of trying to take your tie and cover your shirt, I deal with the facts. Playing Major League Baseball or watching your son pitch at Auburn, what's cooler?
Oh, man. I guess, man, that
it's got to be incredible for you, right? To see your kid out there and know how hard that is, how much work he's put in.
I mean, that's the same thing, right? That's the only thing I ever dreamed of doing was playing in the big leagues. And so getting to do that was so cool. And now, like, instilling that in him, like, that's all he wants to do. So, like, as the dad in you, like, yeah, no doubt. Like, what I did was I was lucky enough I got to stick around. Wasn't that good compared to a lot of other people. Don't think I have a shot to make it in the big leagues now. So to me, it's even cooler now to watch him go out there and compete with smaller strike zones and maybe better hitters than we ever had. I don't know. Some hitters are probably going to get mad at me, but like just where the game is these days, to watch him compete is really cool.
Y'all Cajun folk, man, I love y'all. You know what?
Man.
You guys are like honorary Italians. every single one of you. But I appreciate you, brother. Hey, my best to you, okay?
Yep, anytime, man.
Thanks, man. Good talking to him one more time. And Brian, I got through that as I connect with Watson here. I got through that without referring to him as Real. Do I get credit from you, Brian Hartman? Yes or no? Where are you on that?
Absolutely. I think it's amazing that you've got a father who played at Bama that still calls their games, and then you've got a son that's playing for Auburn. I think that's kind of cool in a way. And you got to think the son, he made his own path. He chose his own school. So that's kind of cool. That's a cool story.
No doubt about that, Bri. No doubt. No, I would not want to be at the school where my dad is.
Yeah, that can also come with some pressure that some don't handle quite as well as others. So, but to choose Auburn, to choose the hated rival, I mean, that's kind of a cool thing. I guess that's kind of like what Peyton Manning did when he chose Tennessee over Ole Miss, although Tennessee and Ole Miss aren't really hated rivals, but still you saw a lot of kind of backlash from Ole Miss fans. And then Peyton blazed his own trail, and then Eli chose Ole Miss to sort of keep the family legacy. Arch, he goes to Texas.
Yep.
So you've kind of got three big blue bloods there. SEC, long time. Well, Texas not, but at least three pretty big brands.
So we go from
the Manning family.
We go from a guy in Lance Cormier, who's a great dude. His son's pitching at Auburn while he played at Bama, and he calls Bama's games, to a guy who absolutely I love. He's a treasure. Shout out to my friends at Simpsons Meats, online at simpsonsmeats.com. They've got gift boxes. The great Watson Brown got one last week from us. And Watson Brown, it's a Wednesday with Watson. And I would like to know how nourished you're feeling today with the iron that you have in you right now from that Simpsons Meats.
Oh, we ate the first steak a couple of days ago. I'm telling you,
you wasted no time. You wasted no time, Watson.
No time. I think we got it on an afternoon,
yes,
and we ate it the next evening. I believe I'm right about that. So.
Yeah, I said,
and they're so thick. Tony, we just split one. We don't have to eat two of them. Brenda and I can just split one between us. They're just delicious. They are delicious.
Watson, and you will taste the difference with Simpsons Meats, Jim Simpson's family farm, late 1800s. They've been doing it, and they've been raising this cattle on pasture on purpose, and it's just going to taste different. You're going to pay more, but you're going to get what you pay for, and that's kind of how it works in life sometimes. My late father used to have a saying, if you buy something that's quality once, you won't have to buy it again. It's not a bad saying, Watson.
No, it's kind of what I say. I say you go one time.
One time.
You eat one of these steaks, you're going back. You can't just eat one of them. There's no way you're going to go back. And this is one of those things. In the world we live in now, you don't always get what you pay for. You get what you pay for with this. There's no doubt.
Hey, Watson, there's a story today, and I saw it over on D1 Ticker, but I guess it surprises you that the commissioner, the reporting on it is that the commissioner of the SEC does not want to expand this playoff because, well, they want to keep their championship game. They like their baby. You and I talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yep. I get it. I've got an answer to it. I wonder if what you would think. Let me give you my answer.
Hit it.
This is what I would do. If I'm the commissioner, I'd beat the Big Ten to it. I'd go back and play 8 games.
Okay.
And I would get it all done within 11 weeks.
Okay.
And in the 12th week, I would take number 1 and number 2 and play the championship game. And then I would either take 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, or 3 and 16, 4 and 15. Whatever's best to help me get more teams into the playoffs. And those games would be the lower seed would host.
Oh, I
And
see.
that would be,
I see.
That's the way I would do it.
So in other words,
exactly what I would do.
In other words, we play our league schedule, and then you have a little end of the year kind of jamboree deal where everybody
kind of
hosts somebody
playoff
else.
System within the playoff system.
Everybody hosts somebody else.
And the only one that goes to Atlanta is 1 and 2.
I love that
everybody
idea.
else plays home and home.
I love, Brian, your thoughts on that. Take your 10th game, take the wheel of your automobile, Brian. Do something creative. Your 12th game, rather. Well, your 10th league game. Yeah, your 10th
and
league
you pick between the first 8. We've been playing 8 anyway.
Yep.
So you pick between the first 8 of the SEC and the top 1 and 2, and then decide what's best. I'm not sure 3 playing 4. You want great games for TV? I'd have 3 playing 4, 5 playing 6, 7 playing 8, 9 playing 10, 11 playing 12, and do it that way. That's what I do.
You think the coaches would like to do that? You think the coaches would like that?
I think they love it because it's no
gives
more
them
games.
another opportunity.
We're
Plus,
not playing an extra game.
Well, it gives them an opportunity too. It gives them the higher seed wouldn't like it, but the team that's in that 3 to 5 range, or let's say 4 to 6
7
range,
and 8. I mean,
or
seriously.
7 and 8, it would give them a scratching card, an opportunity to play off.
The argument to me would be: do you want the real lower seeds to play the higher seeds to get another win to help with the playoffs? But honestly, I think if you really want to be fair about it, you want the best teams playing each other.
It's a Wednesday with the great Watson Brown, who I love. It's the eve of the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, which is a great place to have the NFL draft, by the way. Watson, Super Bowl coming to Nashville 2030. That's heady stuff. Who could have ever... I used to think, having the Nashville Cats in Nashville was a big deal. Arena football back in the day. Who would have ever thought that city be hosting a Super Bowl? But at any rate, they are. Do you think the Titans will be good enough to contend for the Super Bowl by then, in your estimation?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's been so long. I just, somebody's got to show me some leadership that I just hadn't seen in that organization in a while. Honestly, since Fisher left, I just haven't seen it. And I'm not talking about the coaches. I'm talking about above that. I was a Mike Brable fan. I thought that was a mistake. But you've got to get from the top down better leadership. And if they do, there's no reason. I think they're willing to spend the money, but they just hadn't made good decisions. Look at their first picks in the draft through the last 10 years or so, and it's been tough, man.
Yeah, and you got to hit. You got to hit on that first round pick in that league.
You got to hit it. You got to hit it all the way through.
Well, you got to hit it all the way through.
You got to hit it all the way through. It's the NFL is unbelievably competitive because they figured out a way to control the money and what you can spend on each kid, and they control schedules by who you play the next year, how good you were the year before. College football is going to have to figure that out, because it's fixing to get worse and worse and worse. So the haves and the have-nots. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
It's unbelievable in basketball. What's happened in the transfer portal, and Tennessee's a have in the transfer portal in basketball. They're an absolute have. They're throwing money around like it's growing on trees. Truth is, though, when you do that, it does two things. First of all, it augments the pressure on you as a coach and an administrator, because now all of a sudden I've gone all in with my big money boosters and my billionaires, and they don't expect you to get beat in round whatever. They want to cut nets down. When I'm spending $20 million or whatever it ends up being on this payroll, who knows, but 18 million, whatever the number is, when you start spending
you can't expect patience when you're throwing that kind of money.
No.
As a coach, you can't expect it. You got to understand what you're doing and what you're doing.
That's right.
You're going to go out and do that. You got to win.
And you and
if you don't, those guys throwing that money around, Tony, got every reason to get upset about it. Every reason to.
I've got an assignment for you next week. Okay. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to give you $45 million to go out in the transfer portal. Now listen. In college football, okay? I want you to tell me what we'd spend on a quarterback, what we'd spend on our secondary. I just want you to think about it, and what the premium.
Think about it, but that's over my head. Well, I don't want to figure that out.
What the premium positions would be.
It would kill me to be doing this anyway.
Well, that's what these guys are doing.
And I know they are.
And if you sign up to be a football coach today,
took care of it.
Yeah, exactly. He wants somebody else.
good Lord got me out before all this. I wouldn't have been good at it. Now, he didn't take care of me in salary. I wasn't around when those big salaries were being thrown around.
It's
say the least, I wasn't making at Vanderbilt what the guy's making now.
You think? The great Watson Brown.
I wouldn't want to deal with this money.
Let me pause for the cause here. It's hour 2. Let me just take a brief 10-second legal ID. Watson Brown with us.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Watson, I so love you, man. It's such a fun time to be alive, and for me, I'm glad I'm not in that business. You're glad you're not in the business. I don't know how these coaches do this, but they do it. I don't know where Rick Barnes is getting his juice, but he's juiced up, and they're going for it. And, hey, more power to him. And, boy, he is a great politician. You and I have talked. If I'm a head coach at one of these SEC schools, I'm signing a ton of kids out of that transfer portal in all these sports if I have the money to do it, Watson. I'm getting proven commodities, and I'm going to do that as much as I can.
You got to. You just, because the philosophy is completely changed.
Yes.
It's win next year.
That's
right.
You
don't bring in freshmen and win next year. And yes, I think you still got to bring in your share of freshmen to keep building. But at the same time, you've got to go get the transfer portal players. And it's a whole lot like it was when I was coaching. When you needed a quick fix, you went to the junior college. You couldn't get a transfer; you had to sit out a year unless you knew the fix a year earlier, and then you got him to sit. But you had to go to junior college to fix, and that wasn't always a great way to go. But now, Tony, I mean, you can have a really poor team and come back and be competing for a national championship if you've got the money and you're smart with what you do with it. I mean, it can be done in a year. It is being done in a year. Ask Indiana. It is being done in a year. They won a national championship totally in the portal. Totally.
I'm wearing the shirt, Watson, that my son brought back, and he got me an unlicensed shirt. I said, whatever you do, son, I don't want one of those expensive shirts. You keep your money in your pocket. But he went outside the stadium like I did, and like I would have done, and he got one of those off-print shirts, and I've got my Rose Bowl shirt on. Rose Bowl. Pasadena is misspelled on it. Pasadena, California.
Get what you pay for.
1/120. Yeah. Anyway, so here's the point. Watson. The point is that I look down at this shirt and I see Indiana on it, and I cannot believe what they did to Alabama on that football field. I cannot believe that we live in a world where the system exists for Indiana football to look the way they did. And if they can do it, I'm here to tell you, anybody in that sport, you know that old saying where there's a will, there's a way? You got to have a will. You have to have the stomach for it. But there obviously is a way. Because if Indiana can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Probably one-loss record-wise, one of the worst programs in recent history in the last 25 to 50 years. 25 for sure. And yet they did it. They got a coach that understood it, brought him in. He figured it out. The money, it's not just also the money they're getting to pay these players. It's the money they're spending on staff, the number of staff that is there now that's doing nothing but studying the portal. Nothing. That's all they do. And so and coaches are now coaching. They're not recruiting near as much as you had to do in the day, but you got to spend the money to be able to do that. It's a lot of people in a building, and we had 9 guys and 2 GAs, and you go in the building over there in Knoxville at the university right now. Just look and see the number of people that are there that really have nothing to do with field work on the field. It's unbelievable what these schools are spending, but they're getting it. TV created it, Tony. TV's created every bit of this. Sure.
TV
I
has
love
created the money.
I love it.
TV's also created the interest, and so it's there. They've got the money and they're spending it. They're going for it. Now there's a whole bunch that aren't going for it, and as time goes on, we're going to see a much bigger have and have not. If they can keep doing this, I'm a little skeptical that they can, but if they can keep doing this year to year, you're going to have an NFL look. You're going to end up with 30 to 50 teams. That's what you're going to end up with on the top level, and then everybody else will play for another championship.
And here's the other thing. When you see Indiana do it, though, you say that, though, Watson, but when you see Indiana do it, it makes me think the pool's bigger than it is.
It is. There's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids in the portal. There's a lot of kids being left in the portal that don't get to go anywhere.
Well, that's the other thing.
I mean, that's the other thing we never talk about.
Never talk about it. Yeah.
We never talk about that.
Yeah. These agents.
But those good players, buddy, they're being taken, and they're easy to see. That's the other thing. It's so easy. Yep. They've got it all in the computer. All you got to do, I want to see all the 6'6" tackles. Yep. I want to see all the 6'6" offensive tackles. Shoot, you do it in a day. You can just go right down through there. They've got everything on them, phone numbers, email.
Yeah, everything.
It's there.
Who they're dating.
You get to them immediately.
Yeah.
You just get, and then of course there's agents that are also calling and selling these kids. Say, look, hey, get on there and look at this.
Oh, the great Watson Brown detonated himself, Bri. Total detonation. Hey, Cinco, are you fired up, focused, and prepared to get more involved in the portal in football? Are you fired up for that like I am? Because I'm pumped for that, Cinco. As somebody said, obviously the governor's off at Tennessee when you look at what they're doing in basketball. So obviously the governor's going to be off in football, right, Sean? I mean, we can assume that now when we're one of the big spenders in the sport of basketball. All right, Brian, I ask you that. What do you think? Obviously, right, Brian?
Yeah, I like. Did you see? Speaking of governors, did you see where the governor of Kentucky made a statement about apparently he was talking about the job that they created for Mitch Barnhart?
Yes.
That he was wondering where all this money's going.
Let's go.
I love to see that. That's beautiful.
Well, Watson, anybody would love Mitch's gig where they create $1 million golden parachute for you and you just sit over there and I mean that, in this day and time we're living in, to do that, you got to be kidding me. But let's bring Watson. Hey, Watson, let me throw this at you. So I don't want to drag you into that. What I do want to drag you into is it's time for the draft. People live for the draft, Watson. I don't know if you know anybody like this. I have friends that like the draft more than they like the NFL product, and I don't understand that. I also have friends that like football recruiting more than they do watching college football. I've never understood that.
No doubt.
But it's out there, and it is what it is. Bill King became a rich man doing that. You and I both know that. And, hey, he put in the work to do it. And these services and these sites that do it, more power to them. They work really hard at it. They get credit, just like my friends over at Simpson's Meats. Ladies and gentlemen, a beef brand built on quality. They present Watson Brown every Wednesday on here, and I'm fired up, focused, and prepared. Fernando Mendoza, first pick in the draft, comes out of, I don't want to say anonymity or obscurity, but he comes from Cal where he was pretty good. And he goes to Indiana and he explodes. And I don't think any of us saw him being the number one pick. And he has sort of odd mannerisms when he talks, and he's just kind of a different type of kid. You betting on him in the NFL? What do you think?
Boy, there's times where I think there's been years where he might be the third or fourth quarterback when there's been some really, really good ones. I do think he's the best one this year. The overall number one pick, I don't know, but I do think he's going to be a good player, so it really doesn't matter. If you got to have a quarterback, he is the best quarterback in the draft, and you got to take him. I just want to see him play a little bit more. You look at his stats, unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable stats from last year, and was in some very big football games against some really good teams and won the games, and he was a big piece of winning those games. So I'm sure not going to say anything bad about him, but if I put him in a rating, there's been years where he might have been a third or fourth one, in my opinion, coming out.
I think
but
it's
he
a
is
fair
by
statement.
far, in my opinion, the best one this year.
It's a fair statement. It's kind of like this year what's going to happen with this kid that played at Tennessee and Mint. He's in an all-time great draft class. Ordinarily, a kid of his skills, a top 5 pick. This year, they're saying he's anywhere from 8 to 12, 8 to 13, depending on where you're looking. And, that's just kind of being in the wrong year. He could always come back next year and improve his stock. I think that's a remote possibility. He hasn't announced anything yet. Who the heck knows? Moving along, the Giants are at 5. Are a lot of people think going to take Jeremiah Love, a running back from Notre Dame. Now, here's the thing. They're saying he might even go higher than that, which is kind of.
He will.
Tell me why.
I think he will.
Tell me why.
I think he is the best athlete in the draft. I haven't seen a running back with that kind of size that can do everything. Normally, running backs don't get it because they can't do everything. They're not picked that high because they're not an every down back. This guy is an A as an every down back. I mean, he can pass protect on those big linebackers. I've watched him. He catches the ball and runs with the ball in space really, really well. He's a really good ball carrier from tackle to tackle. All of his height, weight, foot speed, all the things they do were top of the charts. So it don't happen very often. The Earl Campbells, the Collie Bum, what am I? All the running
guys.
backs, the Herschel Walker, this guy to me on all of them can do it all. A lot of those guys were fantastic. Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
But this guy to me can do everything, which in the NFL is very important. I think it's really hard in the NFL when you got to go to those third down backs and do all of that. And I think this guy is one of those. He's an A+ at any place on the field on down and distance.
Like a dialed-in Ricky Williams without the Ganji Wawa problem. You know what I mean?
Maybe even better in space than Ricky was. Maybe better in space than Ricky was. Ricky was so big and run over you, and he could dodge you in the gaps. But I don't remember you can set him out as an inside receiver and run a bunch of routes with him and all that. This guy can do that.
So if the Cardinales take him, to your point, if the Cardinales take him at 3, that's going to leave the Titans with a choice. Am I going to take Arvell Reese, the edge rusher from Ohio State, or am I going to take a guy like this Davenport guy, which a lot of people think the Titans are going to take, Sonny Styles, rather, the linebacker from Ohio State. Am I going to take Sonny Styles?
That guy's special, too, now. Good Lord have mercy. The size of Styles and look at his numbers and what he ran and what he does. I mean, he's another freak. That's a defensive freak. I mean, he is special to me, too. There's no way he goes past 4, in my opinion.
Carnell Tate, who came pretty close to playing here at one point. The Vols flirted with him the early part of NIL. They recruited him heavily. He went to Ohio State, had a great career. He slotted 8th for the New Orleans Saints. We've seen Carnell Tate. He got kind of lost. I don't want to say lost, but Ohio State's receiving core was so great that a couple of high-level guys are already in the league performing. You know what I mean? And he's getting ready to be a top 10 pick. I mean, that's a pretty all-time great class of receivers that Ohio State had at one time on their campus. Are you buying or selling his success?
Ohio State, I'm buying.
Buying him?
The receiving class, I don't know that anyone is just more so than there's probably 7 or 8 of those guys
Yes.
this year that are all really, really good. And whether they fall at 10 or 8 or 18, I looked at, I know most of them from watching them, and I'd say there's about 6 to 8 of them that you could put in a pot and pick one out, and you wouldn't be wrong on. You wouldn't be wrong on. That's one of the better things of the draft this year is the edge rushers, the receivers. There's safeties this year that are really good that are going to go higher than they usually go. But the thing that's missing that we usually have is cornerbacks. I don't see the cover guys.
No.
I don't see the cover guys in this draft that I've seen in the past. They're not there. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a freak this year. Yeah. I don't know. I do not know. But there's not the cover guys that you normally see.
And Watson, what's interesting is Colton Hood, who didn't play a down this season.
He's up there pretty high.
Hey. Slotted number 20 to the Cowboys in this draft I'm looking at.
That just tells you right there.
That
tells you right
is
there.
that?
And I'm not saying he's not going to be a really good player. I'm not saying that.
That seems risky, although he's a hell of a player.
No, absolutely he is. But there's just not those bona fide, no-miss corners that we normally see in the draft. That's what I see.
Are you talking about McCoy?
I was thinking of McCoy. Hood did play and got hurt. McCoy is also slotted. I'm confusing those two guys. Hood's
and
a kid
I think
they
he
found
would
from
be
Colorado,
up there.
right?
Injury has been the tough thing.
He's slotted 22. Tennessee's got 2 first-round picks, according to this, both out of their secondary. And Hood got hurt and fought the injury.
Hurt, really.
Yeah, they both got hurt. And McCoy obviously never saw the field, but he's slated to go 22. What do you think? I think both those guys are going to help somebody in that league.
There ain't no doubt they're both very talented players, but that injury piece, man, I'm telling you, the hardest thing on NFL people is to spend that money and then they get hurt. And what a waste of a lot of money. And it happens all the time. And it's going to start happening in college football too. You're going to spend $2 million on one, bring him in, and he plays 2 games and tears up a knee. And it's going to be the sickest feeling of anything you've ever done. And I don't giggle at it because it's not a good situation for anybody. But that really hurt Tennessee this year. Those 2 kids healthy, it would have been a different football team. That would have been a different defense with those 2 kids.
You get a coordinator fired. Question for you as we visit here with the great Watson Brown. Ty Simpson has seemed to have fallen out of the first round, but it only takes one to fall in love. Now, when you watch that kid, see a first-round pick, what do you think? You think somebody grabs him in the first?
I think he goes in the first to somebody late. I do. I think he will. His attitude, his work ethic, he is talented. If he was listed in one of those classes with really good quarterbacks, he wouldn't be there.
Yes.
It's a little bit. He hit the right year as a quarterback because there's not the great ones out there this go around. But I do think he goes before the first round's over.
Watson Brown, I love you. You're a gentleman and a scholar. What from the vittles that they sent you are you next to enjoy? Because Laura just said to me, where's ours? Where's our vittles?
You may have to drive to Cookville and eat a steak with me one night. That's what you're going to have to do.
Let's go, man.
We'll bring you up here and we'll have a Simpson steak right here in the Brown DeRosa if we live on out here.
Yeah.
Guys, think about that SEC thing. I'm telling you, I think that would work. I really do. Somebody said, well, it'd be awful hard to get a game in a week. That's what they do in the playoffs all the time. You never.
Oh, no, I love the idea.
You got to get ready to go play.
I love the idea. That's a great idea.
I think it would work, and it wouldn't eat up that last week, which they're all concerned about. And I get it. I understand it. That 13th week is hard. You need to get straight to the playoffs somehow.
By the way, if you were the Steelers right now and you had Aaron Rodgers holding you hostage like this, wouldn't you move on from him?
I don't understand.
What are we doing?
I don't understand Aaron. Honestly, I'm disappointed in him because he's holding the franchise up.
Yes.
He's hurting the franchise. He's hurting his own teammates by doing that. And if you're not coming back, tell them. If you are going to come back, tell them. I mean, Why does it take another 2 months with him when other people don't do that? I'm just disappointed in him. I just think that's a very selfish move on his part.
Watson Brown, I love you. You're my man.
All right, guys. Love y'all.
Thank you. And, Bri, thanks for helping me there as I was misspeaking. Obviously, I know the difference, but I'm just, it is what it is. Or as Elander Chiquatro says, it really makes Tony look unknowledgeable when he confuses McCoy not only with Colton Hood, but also with Ricky Gibson. When did I do it with Ricky Gibson, Bri? Or is that another one of my greatest hits? Because I'm going to misspeak on you every once in a while. Here's the thing about it. Keeping all these names together and all these guys, they come and go and they wear your uniform for such a short period of time. I'm just asking for a little grace here. And by the way, both Hood and also McCoy were both injured. So, and both guys are slated to go in the first round. And Sean, I think that's very important to have some guys come out of the draft in the first round, Cinco. I think that's an important development for the Vols.
It really is. And another thing is getting people to succeed in the NFL, because then what you get is all kids, when they go into the recruiting process, they're always asked, describe your game.
Yeah.
Well, nobody says, I play like, you could be me, 5'8" white kid, and I'm going to say, well, I'm back in the day, I played like the Ramsey quarterback from Nashville. No, you don't. We're close, but that's what they associate themselves with. And if you're one of those guys, then they're going to associate you with the school you went to, and it just helps out recruiting.
As Seymour Joe said, remember, folks, Tony's roached. Cinco, do you find yourself doing that with all these guys that wear the uniform? We kind of confuse this guy for that guy, or just, it just kind of all runs together.
Well, doing the show is a little difficult. You're highly skilled. For me, there's no script.
Yes.
We're not sitting together. I don't see you. There's no body language to read.
Right.
So at times when you ask a question, I just got to think pretty quickly and do the best I can. But man, this is not like being on television where you have a teleprompter. This is live without a net.
And we don't have a staff.
And football season's
us.
We're like 4 months removed from thinking about football.
That's correct, Brian.
As far as names go. We've been preoccupied with basketball, now baseball.
I'll tell you how.
What was it last week? I was saying his name was Bocce Ball.
Thank you.
The manager for them. It is what it is.
Here's the thing too, and I'm not saying I'm pretty proud of myself for how nimble my mind is with all the stuff we have going on. But every once in a while, you are going to misspeak, or you're going to think, I meant McCoy and I said him, but the point is this. One guy's a transfer from Colorado. One guy came over from Oregon State. Both of them were hits out of the transfer portal. And I get back to this. Why aren't we doing more of that?
If McCoy doesn't get hurt, is Tim Banks still the defensive coordinator?
No, Tim Banks is a goof. You could have had 5 Lester Hayes out there, and you could have had Ronnie Lott at safety, and you could have had Eric Allen at one corner, and you could have had Everson Walls at another. And Tim Banks is a goofball that literally was awful at what he did. But anyway, but I digress. Cinco, people do not like me talking about how much more active we need to get in the portal, but the basketball team is showing that, Sean. We've got to get more active, yes? And I mean much more active.
Well, you do. There's just no doubt about it. It's where do you want to be? Do you want to be at the very top, or do you want to be very, very good? I'd like to be at the very top, but I'll accept very, very good. But if you're not, here's the problem: you can or you can't. That's your choice. But your opponent is. And that's who you're playing.
And people are saying, Tony, and this is true, from the university, from Danny White, it's a mixed message. Because in one sense, Danny's like, well, we're on probation, but then you have the basketball team out there swinging for the fences. Maybe they've put the restrictor plate on football only. That seems to be a narrative. I don't know if I buy that.
Well, here you go with the portal. You could like him or not like him. But if we had played, and I know they didn't show up well in their playoff game, but if we'd have played Texas Tech, we would have got our fannies kicked in football last year. And that whole, and don't even get me started on Indiana. That'd have been a bloodbath from the opening kickoff.
So the crazy thing about Indiana, Sean, that everybody has to recalibrate around is they did that with a bunch of guys like this Charlie Becker kid from the Mid-State. See, my mind's not too bad. This Becker kid from the Mid-State, nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted him. I was talking with somebody around an SEC program at the time, and they said that kid, they were shopping film around to him, and nobody wanted him. Vanderbilt didn't want him. When they were the dregs of society, Tennessee didn't want him. He went up to JMU with this coach. The coach says, come on with me to Indiana. The kid's like, do you think I can play there? Play there? Yeah, I think you can play there. But the crazy thing about what this guy did, which really changes the way we're all thinking about the sport now, and it should, is that there are football players everywhere. There are a lot of guys that never get a shot to play that could play. There are a lot of guys that get a shot to play that ought not to get a shot to play. There are a lot of guys that have 5-star ratings that are really 2.5-star players. We've seen that down through the years. They walk onto a campus and they go, I'm going to throw a name out here. It's like that Hodge kid from Texas. I remember Willie D. Overstreet. I'm not trying to speak ill of anybody, but he said the guy walks on the field and they're like, that's my 5-star competition. That guy can't play at all. And you can tell right away, Sean, who can play and who can't. That's the other thing. Now, guys are allowed to get better, but the big busts, you kind of go, oh my gosh. What was the a big offensive lineman we had, or they got out of junior college? Remember, I was trying to sell, and I kept hearing he was awful.
DeJuan Blair?
Yes. And
Ontarius Blair. I'm the one that said he couldn't play.
And you said
I think Auburn was looking at him too.
And I got crushed for that.
You said it, man. You said it.
Well, here's another unfortunate misstep. Charlie Becker didn't go to James Madison. He was signed at Indiana out of high school.
Okay. So they inherited him, which they were a total have-not though out of high school.
But
right?
That's the kind of kid
exactly
they were getting.
Right.
That's the kind of player they had to get.
Garbage team.
That's right. And develop.
Yeah, he went to a garbage team, and then
Signetti developed him.
And Signetti developed him. Yeah, that's what's crazy. And the kid that they brought with them was the kid that I think ended up having the interception in that game. There were so many they brought with them. There were so many stories of guys they brought with them. It was the other wide receiver, right, that they brought with them, the other kid that exploded there as a wide receiver. Here's the thing.
I think Surratt.
Thank you, Brian.
I
think that's right. Surratt is the guy. The Becker kid, Sink, begged to come here. Begged. But do you blame Josh Heupel for missing? He begged Vanderbilt. He begged Mississippi State. They were shopping him around to Ole Miss. They shopped him to all these programs. Think about all the different teams that have to look at the Becker kid now and go, oh, man, we could have had him. Well, that's the portal era. That's the portal era. More as we continue on the other side. We open it up for your phone calls, and we're jam-packed. We just had you all know the drill. It's call time. It's call time now. As we continue with more on the other side, right after this.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Achillio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from Babe me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. To our friends in the mid-state, I've got a little programming note for you. Then we're going to go to our phones at 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us. And we'd love to hear from you. Next Wednesday, we're going to be broadcasting live from the Musicians Hall of Fame. And I will tell you more about that. But that is a really, really awesome place. We're going to go down there next week. I want to thank Jimmy Woods, who's reached out to me. His aunt and uncle, this was their vision several years ago. They're inducting a class Tuesday night. He knows that I'm a music freak, and he's reached out. And he and I have gotten to know each other, and he's another music freak. And his late great uncle is an absolute legend in the business, and these folks need the drum beat for this incredible museum they have, and they celebrate a lot of the musicians that have made a lot of the music that we celebrate down through the years and have gotten to enjoy. And the likes of Michael McDonald and Don Felder are going to be at this thing, and all these incredible musicians. I mean, the list of people that are going to be there this night. And he's invited lovely Laura and myself to go down as his guest. And we're going to do it. And then on Wednesday, I told him, I want to beat the drum for your place. And so on Wednesday, as I'm having trouble speaking, we're going to be on Wednesday doing the show live from down there. So if you want to come out and see us, we're going to be set up right at the front of the building. We're also going to have discount rate tickets for you to come by. If you want to come by and see the museum for the first time, they'll be doing the Basilio discount. But literally, I'm not making a dime off this, but I want to do it because I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about what his aunt and uncle do, and I'm fired up, focused, and prepared. And that's next Wednesday. I'll get you the particulars, but if you look it up, the Musicians Hall of Fame is where we're going to be next Wednesday. Go ahead, Cinco. Then we go to the phones.
Some things I'm going to suggest you consult with little Anthony before you pick out your outfit. You have the gift of gab. You do not have the gift of fashion, my friend. Just a little heads
Little
up.
Anthony and the Imperials, yes.
And then also I want to give a shout out to a longtime Tony Basilio listener, Adam Daves. Met him last week at the gym. Younger brother of the great Stephen Daves, who our daughters grew up together.
Okay.
But Adam, if you're out there, Yoshihiho, nice to meet you. Good fella, that guy.
I love our audience. I love our people. I absolutely love that a guy picked the phone up and called me and wanted to bring me into a space where they've got so much incredible stuff from the great musicians that have brought all over the world, musicians all over the world. I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to be there. He sent me an incredible book commemorating one of their recent classes, and it's something that I hope we can get more involved with, but it's a Musicians Hall of Fame. Royce DeGray is going to join us tomorrow at some point to fire this thing up, focus this thing, and prepare this thing, and I look forward to that. I like to mix a little, no politics in my sports, but I will mix music with my sports, and I'll do it all day long because it's something that brings joy to people, kind of like sport does. Sport makes you feel, and that's what I love about music. Music makes you feel. You know, whether it's something that's melodic and in a major tone and makes you feel happy, like a piece of bubble gum, or something that's written in a minor key and makes you feel a little sad, like a little something from Metallica, or a little somber and happy at the same time. Part of the mystery of the way music plays on our emotions and plays on our spirits as we go to the phones. We go back to the phones on a day where Tennessee swung and missed on point guard one. And point guard one was the Tanner kid, Tyler Tanner from Vanderbilt. Tennessee at one point thought they had that thing done. They thought they were going to get him into the portal, and it did not happen. But it very much was a story. They very much tried. I'm very proud of them. There are people saying that I made it up. Let me ask you something. Why would I make that up? What would be in it for me to make that up? And then I have to come on here a couple weeks later and go, oh, it wasn't a story and they came close. Why in the hell would I do that? But I want you to think about that. Those of you who think I made that up. Because I'm telling you, if you ask the people that cover this, was Tennessee involved with Tyler Tanner? The answer they're going to tell you is yes, they were. And then you would say to them, well, why didn't you report it like Tony did, or why didn't you hint around about it? And I don't think I'm the only one that was hinting around about it. Some of you are saying that I said they were going to get him. I never said that. I said if they can get this guy into the portal and get him, I said it would register on college basketball's version of the seismograph, or the Richter scale, if you will, because the plates in college basketball will be crashing together. So, and some of you, are, and I've mostly pretty much ignored the people that have, kind of come into YouTube today and gone at me, because y'all don't know what you don't know, and that's fine. But I don't, listen, if I was doing things for clickbaity reasons, I'd be so much further with my talent than I am. I'm just a guy that wants to do a radio show and serve my community, though. I'm not here to get super rich doing what I'm doing, but I have the ability to be super rich. If I wanted to do clickbaity stuff, I could do that all day long. It's just not who I am. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to get behind this microphone, and I'm going to call it like I see it and call balls and strikes. I'm going to write on that blog. I'm going to call balls and strikes, just like we're sitting in the barbershop. I don't have to make anything up. This place provides enough material. Like when that guy called yesterday and said he had to buy he's been going to baseball games for 7 years. He's been funding the baseball program, the whole thing. And he has good seats in the baseball stadium, and they're making him buy a ticket for his newborn baby. I don't have to make anything up. When Danny White about got people stomped, smashed last year before the Georgia game, and he didn't listen to the people inside the physical plant, they were like, hey, you can't do these things. Or the stuff they've done with baseball parking now that's all confusing all of a sudden. Or like Taylor said yesterday, the closing of a lot before first pitch. You can't park in this lot till after first pitch. I mean, the cockamamie stuff, that the material we get here, I don't have to make any of it up. When I told you that Lady Vol, that whole team was going to leave and nobody believed that, I wasn't making that up. Why would you? I mean, so anyway, let's go to the phones and we'll get as many people in here. And hello and welcome in to our first call. You're on the air. Hi, welcome in.
Hey guys, it's Dave.
Hey Dave, good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, everybody I talked to and read about, yeah, they had a huge offer to that Tanner kid, and if he went into portal, he was going to come here. That's a fact.
Thank you, Dave.
That is a fact.
They got together an offer right around $7 million. You know what? And the kid stayed for less than half that, is my belief and their belief, which, hey, I guess good on that kid, right, Dave? He's one of the few, as the honky tonk man said, not honky tonk man, but as the $1 million man said, I guess he didn't have a price or they didn't meet it.
Yeah, I mean, his family lives there in Nashville, and I think his mom's a doctor or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well.
And I mean, but we had contingency plans. A plan.
Sure.
With the Terrence Hill Jr. and the Ames kid, and we might pick up some other guy. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to try and do. Add another guard. I think yesterday they were trying to pull somebody in, and I don't know whether they did or not. I don't know where that stands. I can't get anybody to come back to me, and I'm not going to speak on that till I do.
But we just have to. We got to make this roster complete. We have to finish the deal with Duke Harris and pick up another decent big.
Dave, I talk to people, okay, on this thing, and Duke Harris might be playing liar's poker with them, but they're convinced that he's coming here. They're convinced that the only thing that keeps Duke Harris away from here is if he gets a hankering to all of a sudden jump into the NBA life and the NBA draft where they think he's going to be drafted in the second round.
Yeah, that's where he's not in any of the first-round projections.
Correctamundo. But I guess you never know. But here's the thing. They get Duke Harris with what they already have, and I'm assuming Duke Harris is coming. That's an A-plus class, and they're going to be very good because they're going to add a big person or two. They're still involved with several big people. And, again, they're being tight-lipped about that as well. So more power to them.
Yeah, and the Nate Ament people around him, they're split. They're definitely split on whether he goes or comes back. But I
would sell that to them. Now that I've got my Tyler Tanner bag, and we were talking about that, I would go right to him, which I always thought was kind of a possibility. I'd go right to Nate Ament, and I'd say, look, man, you are too good a player and too valuable a player in your professional career to go into that draft as a number 12 player or even the number 8 player for that matter. You need to be the number 1 or number 2 player. You come back here, that's what we'll do with you. That's exactly what I'd say to that kid. And by the way, I'm going to pay you $7 million this year if you'll come back.
Yeah, they definitely got the money. They just got to close strong here, Tony. I mean, we're on the cusp of a really good team. I don't know if we're tier 1 like Duke or if that Florida team was bringing back all their pieces.
It's crazy.
And I don't know if we're there, but we could have a really, really good team next year and have a shot at it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
To make a Final Four, I'm just shocked that kid at Florida is projected like top 15. That Hawk kid or how
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming back, and Condon's coming back, and I know that Chinlow's going to come back. He's testing waters, but he's not projected to be a first-round pick. But if they get that, I mean, I know they're not going to be as good at the guard position as they were 2 years ago. I know that, but that front line is just for a college front line. That's a beast.
Well, they're men.
Line.
They're men.
They are.
They're men.
Grown men.
And the thing about our whole team here is that it's going to be like a lot of things. Like Sean asked earlier, what's it all going to mean? They're going to be able to put it together? I have no idea. I know this. I love the effort. I know this. Dave, we are currently living in the collective heads of Kentucky's basketball nation.
Yeah, I've been over on Rep Rafters.
Did you ever dream, Dave, in your lifetime that you would get to see Kentucky basketball jealous of Tennessee basketball? And I mean jealous of Tennessee basketball, as in big-time jealous, as in coveting thy neighbor's basketball players.
Oh, and to add insult to injury, and look what Louisville's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is really not good over there.
No, it's you get a chuckle out of it. It's worth chuckling over because truly, those people don't know what's going on. It's so strange to think and watch Kentucky spin. And buddy, they are spinning right now.
Well, here's what some of them are coming to the realization of one thing. They used to dominate the SEC because most of the schools in the SEC at the time didn't prioritize basketball.
That's right.
And now they do. The SEC is loaded with great coaches. Now the whole deal's different now. Kentucky, they're never going to dominate the SEC like they once did. That's over. And a lot of them are having a hard time coming to grips with that. They really are.
Hey, Bri, are you coming? And Sean, are you guys coming to grips with that?
Well, it's been like that for a while. They haven't.
Yeah.
When was their last Final Four?
Like 2015, 2016?
When was the last time they really had a shot to go to a Final Four? Really, they haven't this entire decade. And Indiana, you mentioned Louisville. Indiana's done the same thing. They've loaded up. And that's another rival of theirs that's always compared to them.
So, I mean, it just is. I mean, it's just this used to be a college football conference.
Yep.
And then Kentucky wasn't any good at football, and they did everything with basketball, and that was their history, and that's who they were. And they dominated. They dominated the conference.
Hey, Dave, what kind of dog you got there?
Oh, that's Sadie.
Can that dog hear me? Can that dog hear me?
No, probably. You
want a treat? You want a treat? Sadie, want a treat? Sadie, you want a treat?
Oh yeah, we got their attention. Both of them. Milo's here too.
All right, yeah, they're gonna bring their ears up for you. Hey, Dave, I appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
All right, guys, have a good day.
Even his dog agrees. Dave's dog sounds like him, Bri. I like Dave now that he calmed down. Dave, how do I put this? When that portal closed last night and Tanner wasn't in it, and he kept watching and watching, he texted me like 4 o'clock in the morning, this feverish text about how the whole thing's fallen in. They couldn't get him in. We're a bunch of losers. I'm just like, this freaking guy. And you people think this guy's an act and a plant, and you all thought I was kidding you about this Tanner thing. And it was never a work, man. It was a shoot the whole time. It was a shoot. It was a shoot. But, Bri, that dog sounded like that thing. The name ought to be like Negadog. That dog was negative sounding, Bri. Did you hear that bark? Gaw! Somebody asked, do Dave's dogs even wag their tails when they're happy, Bri? Gaw!
I think the dog got the energy Dave usually brings.
Yeah, Dave didn't have the what is it? He didn't have the punch today. We'll come back. If you want to get in, 865-200-5402. If not, we'll call it a day. But we continue with more after those. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. We may not have gotten point guard 1, ladies and gentlemen, but we did. and still have a Fan Run Radio point guard one. His name's William Pattison. And his level of wit and wisdom is on the way next. And he's got you. And we'll do an overtime segment. I don't know how long we're going to do it, because I have a lot of work to do. I'm in one of those cycles right now of circular motion where I've got a lot of work to do. Just a lot of stuff just piled up. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the wit and wisdom of William Pattison.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Sinky, you didn't get many words in today, buddy. I apologize for that. It was a rather wordy excursion from me, the guests. So what's on your mind, bro? I haven't even had a chance to really pick your alleged mind. And by the way, shout out to Clarky over at Select Ticket Service. He will buy your tickets. Clarky pays cash. I bet Clarky'd love to be Music Hall of Fame. He's a big music guy.
I think the show's better when I limit my stuff there.
No.
When you're shining, it's better. But I a couple things I wanted to ask you.
Hit it.
Lady Vols, they're signing a lot of people, but they all look like they're under 6 feet, 6'1". What are we doing? I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, Queen Kimmy. I hear you that your system, rules the roost.
Yeah.
Division II and all that stuff, and it was cute at Marshall, but
yeah.
I don't know about this. I just don't know. You have to explain that, and then I'll tell you what. Got to watch the weekend's games with my old college roommate, former right fielder for Delmonico, Steve Matthews, and we were just struck. Over the past several years, our teams were considerably physically bigger than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just shocked at the size discrepancy between Ole Miss and us. I mean, I know for the most part we're playing freshmen, sophomores, couple third years thrown in there. Mm-hmm. But those guys were just bruisers. They look like the old Steels. You said the King and his court, the old Steels professional softball team. Mm-hmm. They were huge. And there's no doubt why we're so small. We're so anemic with the power game this year, even though we had 6, I guess, the other day. But that's crazy how small we are compared to other teams.
No doubt.
Anyway,
about
Lady
it.
Vols, your thoughts?
I think, I'll tell you what, I like that Coulibaly kid they got from Auburn. She's a nice player, man.
Okay.
Brian, where else have we heard the name Coulibaly? She can't be the only one. Does she have like a brother that played or a sister that played?
I don't know, but I saw where they got a player from A&M too. So they've taken a couple from within the conference. Now they weren't on very good teams.
No. And they got a couple.
There used to be a great defender in European soccer. Maybe Mamadou Coulibaly.
That's what I think.
Like that.
Yeah, I think there are several Coulibalys that are out there right now. But anyway,
Tony Vitello is 1-0 against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Did you see the Dodger catcher laugh last night when the kid he was seen to mouth "Who gives an F about him?" when a guy looked like he was going to be out for a long, long time. By the way, Brian, did you see? And I haven't said a word about the Sixers beating the Celtics because that's the biggest joke in the world. But did you see? VJ Edgecombe is a great player to be 19 years old and be able to do that in a playoff game. That's pretty crazy how good that kid is. It's a shame he's on the Sixers. Did you see Wembanyama's face plant last night, guys?
No.
When he hit the ground, he falls face first going full speed. He gets tripped in the lane. Nothing breaks his fall but his top of his head. And it looks like a panel on the floor almost comes loose. He hits it so hard. He bounced off the floor with that kind of force. And the kid got up and walked out. But he's not going to play. I mean, there's just no way that kid plays. That was unbelievable how scary that looked.
He's fallen from a long way at 7'4".
Oh my gosh, Bry.
That's a long way to fall.
Nothing broke his fall. Nothing broke his fall. But the Lady Vols have gone after and have gotten some, there's some interesting additions here. They got the girl from A&M. I don't know how to say her name. It's Fatmata. Brian, do you know how to say that? Jana is her last name. Fatmata. I don't know how you'd say that. The Coulibaly girl is 5'10". They got a 6'2" forward, Zencraft from Georgia. They got another kid from Georgia who's 5'9". They got another 5'9" guard. They got Naomi White, who's a forward from Northern Arizona, 6'3". And, you look at the sizes of some of the other teams in the league. I mean, generally those rosters are going to range anywhere from 6'6", 6'3", 6'2". Most are over 6 feet. There are a few kids that play like it, 5'10" in the league. But, the 5'9", 5'10" kids, we saw this last year with those twins. You put those kids out there on an SEC floor, and they're going to get eaten alive. But anyway, that's kind of my thought. It'll be interesting to see if I love that Coulibaly kid. I think she's a baller. I remember watching her this year in a couple games. I think she's a pretty good player. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting because here's the thing, and you have to ask yourself, right, with Lady Vol basketball, because I'm not a cheese mover. They fired a coach that went to the Sweet 16. This lady went to the Sweet 16 her first year and cratered the program. But now it's almost like the narrative around here is we're not trying to compete for national championships anymore in that sport, which is odd. That's sort of odd to me because that's what Lady Vol basketball is.
That's why they wanted to make a move on Kelly Jolly because the folks who were funding that didn't think they were able to compete at the higher level that they wanted to, that they'd been before.
Yeah, but you guys, you know what I mean? You don't have to, that can be okay, but what would be sad, and I'm not the biggest Lady Vol fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch them. It's not my cup of tea. But I cheer for them.
Yeah.
I want them to win every single game. But I just don't want Pat Summitt's legacy to go by the way of Old Dominion and Ann Donovan and then Louisiana Tech, the Barrymore guy, and some of these other programs that were great at the time,
or
because
Kentucky
they're
basketball.
not really thought of. They're just like, I remember when they were good.
Yeah.
I don't want that for the Lady Vols.
Or Kentucky basketball, as Negative saying. Here's the thing in this era. Well, listen, you're either going to compete or you're not. And it's when you cool off, it's hard to get hot again. Then again, if you get the right coach in there, I'll tell you this. Now, they're not going to do it. But if I were the Lady Vols, I'd either go get that guy from Texas and pay him a lot of money and say, come back here and fix this thing. Or I'd get the guy from Louisville and pay him some decent money and say, come in here and fix this thing. I'd go get me a guy. Plus, I like humor. So, if they got a guy, I mean, I like humor. Get a man to come in.
You're talking about a dude.
Get a man to come in here and fix this thing. Yes. Get a man to come in here and fix it.
Interesting.
Now you wonder why people don't.
I don't think much of the mafia is on the YouTube chat, or you'd be getting lit up.
Well,
right
listen,
now.
listen. You wonder why people don't like little old me. But I say it. They had a chance to get the Walls guy. He begged for the job. But for the longest time, they could only hire, this certain subsection of people that coached here, people in the tree. And then they go outside the tree and they try to reinvent the wheel. And this lady's going to try and run around next year with a bunch of mid-major basketball players and fringe pieces that aren't star players off SEC teams. These players aren't star players that she has. And I mean, look, I hope it works out. It'd be a great story. I'm not going to sit there and root against them. I mean, my gosh. But if Danny White didn't hire her, you think she would have gotten another year after having the whole thing crater in on her? And the thing they spun, which I still can't get over, is that she had 2 coaches undermine her this season. Well, hell, whose fault is that? Sean, if you had an office manager undermining you, how long would she be your office manager? To your staff, Sean?
Well, I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at that. Were they undermining her, or were they trying to save something and turn something around that wasn't working?
Okay, but if you got word that they were saying things, Kim Caldwell's word is they were turning my team against me. If you had somebody in your deal turning your team against you, Cinco, as I shake up my shake, I've got a shake-a-weight in my hand. Actually, it's a bottle. It's got like Gatorade in it. Shake Gatorade, which is pretty good, by the way. The Shake Gatorade's not bad. The powder. Cinco, what say you? What would you do?
Well, I mean, I'm no Donald Trump with The Apprentice, but I've had to ask a couple of questions in my career.
That's right. I call you in and I say, hey, look, I heard what you said to so-and-so. This is like early January. You have to go to the end of the season with these people. It's not management. Management is hit the road, Jack. But see, the thing they did is, which was really poor on their part, and again, people don't like me because I speak the truth. I just try to call it like it is. Brian Rice, or my buddies over in the afternoon on Sports Animal, who swallowed that stuff they sold them, and that's okay. As I wrote in the blog about this very subject, I've been spun before. I've been led astray, or whatever. It happens to everybody. And I've also sung for my supper before. Everybody's sung for their supper. You know, you have a source that helps you, and you kind of like, you know, you're getting something, and you just gotta, you know, or you swallow something and you don't want to do it, but you don't want to get in the middle of something. Anyway, so explain to me how the guy that undermined him is hired by the lady at LSU. Do you think that she's going to take a guy on her staff? And there are no secrets, by the way. Hey, Sean, in the football world, when guys are turds as assistant coaches, right? Just turd people. Doesn't everybody in the sport know that? Everybody in the profession?
I would think so. It's like we both have a mutual friend who's big in the golf world, and you know, I was wondering about when Tiger Woods had his last accident, and we were told that's the worst kept secret, and his issues are the worst kept secret in the golf industry. So no, there's everybody knows.
Just like we had a mutual friend telling us that Phil Mickelson had mounting gambling debts. And guess what Phil Mickelson did? Signed with Liv for all that money and brought some people with him. I didn't do it. Sorry. I didn't do it. Everybody knows. She would never have hired him. And by the way, Central Florida would never have hired that guy if he did those things. But it's okay. Kim Caldwell had somebody else to blame. Here's the issue, though. That roster she has right now looks like a nice little team on paper. Nice little teams in this league. I mean, you're swimming with the sharks now. But her gamble is we're going to throw 15 kids like this out on the floor and run up and down the floor and press and run, and I'm going to sit over there and do this thing, crack out whip, and they're going to do it. Maybe they will. Maybe she can get it to work here. I wouldn't bet on it. I would not bet on it.
Would somebody have hired her now if Danny White didn't 2 years ago? Would somebody else have hired her? Was anybody else looking to hire her?
I don't know. I mean, the story was broken by a guy in town who has a parody account, and we all thought it was a parody. So, but she was winning at that high level. I mean, there's no question. Eventually, somebody was going to give her a chance. Plus, she's a nice-looking gal. And let me tell you something. My looks have opened a lot of doors for me. They've also closed a few.
Huh.
Interesting.
Maury Hanks.
Interesting. But, you know, it's like Real Mr. Tubb says the hate for Kim. I don't hate Kim. I wish her well. I don't hate her. You mean to tell me if Pat Summitt came back and saw what they did in that program, she'd say give her another year, Mr. Tubbs? Are you got to be kidding me, right?
I sat there and watched the whole program walked out on her. How is that what you're saying, hate?
Yeah, I mean, what? She literally had a player like challenge her to a fight and cuss her out on the bench during a game this year. Mr. Tubbs, I didn't do that. I mean, I didn't do it. So I don't hate anybody. She seems like a sweet family kid. I wish her well. I just don't know how you're going to do that. Look, Nick Saban knew this, okay? Rick Barnes knows this. If you want to win in these sports, in these leagues, you better have players. That's why Tennessee, in basketball, put the pedal to the metal this year, because there's urgency, because the sands, like the days of our lives, are gone through that hourglass. And let me tell you something. Tennessee basketball threw the pedal to the metal. They got on Tyler Tanner's agent in January, and thought at one point they thought they had him hooked at one point. Real Mr. Tubbs, she did defeat UConn in year one. We can give her some flowers. Hey, that's a great win. No question. Great win by her.
Oh, you know, when you're talking about basketball stories, what about the story about one of the local writers that popped a recruiting story prematurely, which caused an uproar, which caused the kid not to come here after all, and that was buried.
And that was back in the day when we first had the portal, and
yeah,
and Barnes was accused of tampering. They gone from that to we just recruit people off each other's rosters.
Yeah,
well, let's go back to
state-run radio, state-run media. Absolutely would not talk about that. Nothing to see here. What are you talking about?
Brian, how scared are you of the Sixers right now? Jeremy Sanders wants to know. Then we go to the phones. What's your fear level of the Sixers, Brian, after last night?
I'm a little annoyed. But
I would be annoyed by that.
They're favored by 7. Boston's favored by 7.5 in Game 3 on the road.
In Philly.
Yes.
Boston will beat the Sixers.
That's pretty significant.
I'll tell you how bad the Sixers are. My brother and my son are all texting each other last night. My brother Richard. I say, hey, guys, the Sixers are up 11 with 4 minutes left. And they go, we're not turning that on. That's how little, Brian, we believed. I didn't watch a second of it, Brian, because I assumed that your Celtics eventually would kick it in and beat them. Because I look at the Sixers organization like they're the Washington Generals trying to compete. I mean, it's farcical how bad they are. But let's go to the phones, and we'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, this is DR. I wasn't going to start my call about Lady Vols, but, you know, I'm torn on Kim because I do like her.
Yep.
But that's also Danny White's hire. It makes me not want her to succeed. Is that sadistic? I just don't like Danny White.
I started today's blog congratulating Danny White on hiring a golf coach that won the school's first ever Southeastern Conference Golf Championship. That is a great hire by him and a job well done. So,
yeah, it'll bring in a lot of revenue for us for sure.
I mean, come on, man. You have to give Danny White some love. Give him some love for that now. Give him some love. Give the man his flowers.
Well, I'll try to, but I'm see. This is what my phone call's about. It's Danny White. Have you ever watched The Sopranos? Any of y'all?
No.
Oh my God, you got to watch it, Tony. Especially you being Italian.
No.
So in it, there's a guy that's real greedy with money, and they joke with him. They said, flies won't land on you because you charge them for parking, and that's how Danny White is charging that baby, 3-month-old baby, for standing room only tickets. That's incredible, Tony.
So this guy called yesterday. Might have been in the overtime.
It was.
He's a young dad. He's been going to games for 7 years. He and his wife show up at the gate with their literally their newborn baby. And Tennessee informs him, you have to have at least a standing room only ticket for your child. For a person that cannot stand up. DR. Think about that. I mean, a child that cannot stand up has a standing room only ticket. Somebody needs to do a meme with Danny White and the standing room only baby in the Tennessee onesie.
Well, and the great thing about that is, Tony, is they limit bag size. So I'm sure Danny White, it's like, well, you can't bring diapers in here, but you can buy one for $12.50 at concession stand.
That's a great line.
Oh,
by the way,
it's incredible.
By the way, guy called me today. He went over to the sale. They had the sale yesterday. And I'm not ripping these guys. I'm not. Because it's hard doing anything, and everybody's going to be critical and this, that, and the other. But this is so Danny White. Said for that sale they had yesterday inside the complex, you could go in there and buy like a dented helmet or whatever, scratch and dent, maybe one of Bino's athletic supporters that we have here in the studio, whatever. And that's cool. You go in there and pick up some cool stuff, and maybe there's some resellers in there as well and sell some stuff on eBay, spec buy or whatever. Danny had his cattle stuff up with the lines. They had you going through these like mazes. But then when you were in line, they were taking all your information, your email, so they could put it on their DR Vol, dare I say, their waiting list. And here's the thing. When you call them and you want tickets, they'll tell you there are now 19,000, because they just keep collecting names. There are like 19,000 names on your waiting list. Okay? But if you call over there, they say, but if you'll give us XYZ right now, you'll jump to the front of the waiting list. Cinco, is that a waiting list when that's what you're doing? When you're using a list as a cudgel by which you jump people to the front? Do we call that a waiting list, Sean Sinclair?
It's more like a wish list, Tony B.
Okay.
I wonder what that waiting list is going to be like when we go 6-6 this year.
It's going to be 25,000. The Danny will be out next year telling people because they're collecting signatures. I'm surprised they're not out there getting people to sign a petition in the street and then saying, oh, by the way, can I have your email address? I'm going to put it on my waiting list. Waiting list of what, Danny White? He wants you to believe that. They sold 13,500 tickets last year in Neyland Stadium to ticket brokers. One in Houston, one in Atlanta. I know he doesn't like me. I get it. He and I are never going to see the world the same way. But, man, that is a fibberoni to act like the stadium's a hard sellout. How many people do you know, DR, that are sitting around really in high anticipation of this season? I don't ever remember a spring where Tennessee football was more off the radar than this spring.
I care more about the basketball portal.
Cinco, do you ever remember a spring where it was more off the radar than it is right now? And we had a quarterback battle.
No, I don't.
And we had a quarterback battle.
Tony, you know what you should do?
Yes.
Thomas Massey, I don't know, he's like a congressman or something up in Kentucky. He's got a name badge, and it constantly changes because it's the national debt. You should put that in the Ray Mears studio of the waiting list, and every day it just keeps going up a little bit more, a little bit more. That would be incredible for you to do.
That is
It'd be on brand for you.
That's pretty great work by you. Thank you, DR.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think they've been charging babies for years to get in there because didn't they used to have something about everyone must have a ticket?
Yeah, I think that's right, Brian. But my thing about a baseball game at a baseball stadium is it's 7 years, and how many of these games, Brian, are there really a ton of people at these games right now? Let me help you out. A lot of the big shots aren't even going to games anymore. You can see it behind the stadium. Saturday night, they allegedly had this big, huge crowd. And there were hundreds of empty seats down low. I'm sorry, I got eyes. I can see them. But
the Cubs they don't have as much company where they're sitting as they used to.
And here's the thing about the football deal. Look, let me tell you something. You talk to anybody that's in my business, we need football to roll and be great. We make money when that's so. People sit there and go, well, you just sit around, you're cheering against. I don't cheer against anything. I do a damn post-game show that comes on at like midnight some night. You think we want to sit here and talk about losses? And by the way, when you start losing, you know what happens to your audience? It doesn't grow. Okay? It doesn't grow. People say, well, you were just doing that point guard one stuff just to kind of grow your deal. Bullshit. I was talking about that because they were going for it. And I respect the hell out of that. I respect that. And I want that for my football program. People get mad at me for saying that. I'm always going to be me. I can just promise you that. If we can do that in basketball, we sure as hell can do that in football. We could flex like Lane Kiffin is. But you have to have a head coach willing to do it. And by the way, I didn't do it. Sorry. And that makes people angry and it makes people dislike me, and I get that. But I'm always going to tell you what's on my alleged mind. And it's not going to be, I'm not a great takesman, but I'm a takesman. I'm a pretty good takesman. But I'm not, I'm not like 100% right. This is just the way I see it. Explain to me why we're swinging for the fences in basketball with that huge budget. We're not doing it in football. That doesn't make any sense. Look at the size of Thompson Bowling Arena. Look at the size of Neyland Stadium. Look at the following of Tennessee basketball. Look at the following of Tennessee football. You know what I am? I'm right. I'm right. Some of you don't want to admit that. And Danny White needs somebody that says to him, not a good idea. And everybody over there kisses his ass. They're all afraid of him. You're looking right at somebody that's not. We've invited him on the show umpteen times. I'm not afraid of him. Not in the least. Not in the least. Not at all. But I'll tell you this, when I see people, I say hello to them. I treat people with respect. I treat everybody with respect. I don't care what your job is, what your station in life is, where you are, who you are, what you do. I don't care. And I speak truth to power. I don't give a damn. I've never cared. I've always said down through the years, never my goal to be invited to the cocktail parties. So it is what it is. But let's go back to the phones. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Because you know who I answer to? Ultimately, this community. You know who we serve? Ultimately, you. You. And I'm on my own, So, and your support means everything to us. That's why when Jimmy Woods contacts me out of the blue and says, hey, we have this Hall of Fame thing. I'm taking a shot in the dark. I'm a longtime listener. I love you. And we start talking, and I'm like, man, I love you. And by the way, your late great uncle, I've watched those podcasts of him interviewing all these great musicians down through. That's really your uncle. And I say to him, hey, you know what? I don't want a dime out of you guys. I'd love to come to your thing, but how about if we do the show the next day from your place? I'm not going to charge you 1 penny for that. You know why? Because I love what your family has tried to do for music with that Musicians Hall of Fame. I love my community. I love my alma mater. I don't have like some kind of like anti-Danny White. I led the blog with, hey, congratulations, that's a great hire. When you do well, you get praised. And when you about get people trampled before the Georgia game and don't listen to people, you're going to get ripped. And when you create parking quagmires after football games, you're going to get ripped. And I told you he doesn't have a relationship with people in his athletic department, and he said I've never even met Josh Elander before, because that's my lieutenant's job. Can you imagine behaving that way in your athletic department? Danny's never heard the saying that not everything in life that counts can be counted, because he thinks it's all right there on a ledger sheet, and he and I are never, ever in life going to see something the same way. Because that is the exact opposite of me. But we'll go back to the phones. Because I love what I do. I love my community. I love God. I love being here. I love being alive. I love sports. I am so looking forward to the Flyers game tonight. I'm just like, I'm a little kid. I'm a 59-year-old little kid. And we laughed out loud. Powerlifting Vols says, you absolutely have a vendetta for Danny White. No, I don't. Danny White started his nonsense from day one when he got on that microphone and said, I'm going to fix the leaks here. I'm like, shut the hell up, Danny White. You ain't fixing no leaks. What do you think it says, Watergate? He was so worried about something that happened at his first press conference. Hey, Powerlifting Vol, I didn't do that. He did. And by the way, I wasn't the one that said, I don't have a relationship with my coaches. He was. And by the way, I wasn't the one that didn't even walk up to Tony Vitello in his office afterwards and congratulate the guy and say, hey, man, great season. He was. Not me, man. Not me. He's totally weird. And by the way, I'm pretty weird too, but I didn't do that. You have a vendetta. Let's go back to the phones. 865-200. 865-200-5402. I would love to see Tennessee football compete at the top of this thing again. We have the money to do that. That's one thing Rick Barnes is showing me here. Brian, isn't that true? If we'll spend like that in basketball, Brian, imagine what we'd spend in football if our head coach went out there and went for it. It's the truth. Are we still? I like the sanction thing. Somebody tell me the last time, because one of those national writers was talking about the clearinghouse and some court case here today, and I retweeted it and said, are we talking about the publisher's clearinghouse here? I didn't even know we still printed magazines. I want somebody to tell me this big bad wolf that everybody was afraid, that Danny White was afraid of. And I'll tell you this about Danny White. I've always said this. He's right about we need collective bargaining. But that's too late now. Those kids are never going to do that. Why would a group of people that get free agency every year agree to collective bargaining? Would somebody please explain that to me? Well, let me help you out with that. They're not going to. They're not going to. But Danny White's right about that. Until we do this, we're just kind of tilting at windmills. Because these sports are unprofessional sports. But the thing I can't get over in this era of the money that's on all these sports, okay? Here's the thing that I cannot just get over in my mind. In the Southeastern Conference right now, they're making more money from television in all these sports that they ever dreamed possible. All of it. You would think they would figure out a way to kind of slim their payroll just a little bit internally and give the fans a little bit of a break on those tickets. Just a little bit of a break or a thank you. Here, there, and everywhere, though, they just keep pounding us, or you, in that case, not me, but pounding the fans. Pounding the fans. But listen, people say, well, you're a Rick Barnes sheep. Rick Barnes' first couple of years, I called them weekends at Barnesies. Not proud of it, but we did. When I saw they weren't going for it in recruiting, which they weren't, they go for it now. But we used to have a counter on the website, number of days since since a top 100 player signed. Hey, listen, I'm an idiot, okay? But one thing I will do is get on here and kind of give it to you in real time. So, Rothstein just announced a game between NC State and Gainey in Nashville. That's cool. I've always been a proponent. I think Pearl had the right idea. I think Tennessee's a state school, okay? I think they ought to play a game in Memphis, like one of these non-league deals, as long as you don't interfere with your home schedule. But I've always thought they should play a game or have their own tournament in Nashville. Didn't Pearl do that, Bri? He had a doubleheader. One year they played.
Yeah, they would play somebody like in a neutral site deal there in December. But speaking of Nashville, Adam Silver wants the Grizzlies to start playing some games there, but says they're not moving from Memphis.
To some of my Nashville listeners, why was LeBron James heard like on an open mic basically saying that Memphis is a problem? It was a couple weeks ago, Bri. Is that incredible? What do you think, Bri? By the way,
well, Memphis isn't the only city that's a problem.
We only
out there.
We only have 97.
Far from it.
We only have 97 likes on YouTube. If I don't see 50 more in the next 5 minutes, I'm out of here. 50 more in the next 5 minutes, or I'm gone. I mean, we don't ask a lot. Shush. As Brian Williams tweeted one time at the outset of Twitter, I feel so fly. Sheesh. What was the exact tweet, Brian? It was something like that, wasn't it?
I feel real fly today.
I feel real fly today. And then he put, sheesh. Let's get our next call in. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, guys? Joshy boy.
Wingo. Chapardo, your Braves have already dusted my Phillies. And Tyler Ivins, New York Metropolitans. Did you see what Craig Carton...
And Frank the Tank's Metropolitan.
Did you see what Craig Carton on WFAN did yesterday to try and reverse the curse?
Oh, I didn't.
He had to talk to a girl on his show.
Oh,
because
I thought she fell off the face of
the earth. He called her and put her on. She threw out the first pitch a couple years ago when they had their real run. So they were trying to get that back, and they ceremoniously went out last night and blew a 3-0 lead and got beat again.
Yeah. Tony, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I may get crucified for this, but honestly, I think Josh Heupel should start considering going in the transfer portal every year, getting a quarterback, and just not recruiting a quarterback anymore. because I think most teams are going to do that every year.
It's exactly what I would do. I'm going to get me a finished product, man, in all these sports.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Frank Anderson's an awesome pitching coach.
Uh-huh.
When he was here, what'd they do? I'm going to go get Dolander.
Yep.
We're going to go get this guy. We're going to get that guy. We're going to go get this guy and that guy. They weren't growing their own. They grew some of their own, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so
Joshy boy, what do you make of your Lakers being up 2-0? Is that a surprise to you?
To be honest, Tony, I didn't have high hopes going into this series. I thought we'd get beat in 5 or 6 games with Austin Reeves and Luke out. But even if we get past this series, we're going to lose next round in probably 5 games anyway.
Who do you have next round?
They're going to win the whole thing, Oklahoma City.
What about Oklahoma City? You're right. What about Wemby last night? Him getting his face smashed on the floor.
Didn't see it.
Oh, Josh. Oh.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor and don't look at it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to eat over here.
So what do you make, Tony, of some people? They're probably going to say this. If we have a rough year this year in football, it's going to be because we're young at the quarterback position. What do you think about people's narrative probably saying that?
I think that's accurate. What I want to see is, and I think that's why Vegas doesn't like the Vols more, because it's so much about your quarterback play. But what I want to see is one of the guys, whomever emerges, I lean toward it being that true freshman, but hey, whatever.
Because I don't get why they didn't go after the Joseph kid harder in the portal and try to get him or Sam Levitt. I would have paid that $5.5 million to Levitt.
Anybody? Yeah, I would have. I don't know about the Levitt kid. I don't know if that would have been my guy. But here's the thing: to me, internally, I'm doing what Barnes is doing. I'm making a list of 7 or 8 guys, and I get on those guys right now. And I start contacting those agents right now. Tennessee had a kid last year, and I forget his name, talking about 2 seasons ago, that they already had basically committed in September. They had a deal with his people. And then he went and had a bad year, and they just dropped him. And went and added Gillespie. But they were on somebody different.
Basketball team.
In basketball. But in football, there's no reason you can't do that. It's exactly what the Oregons of the world are doing. They're getting on these people early. You can't wait till the guys get in the portal and then get in scramble mode.
Because I know a few times Tennessee has been in talks with players that they have got months before the portal started during the season.
Yep.
For basketball.
Yep.
Because I know they were in contact with Chaz Lanier even before the season ended.
Way before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the way out, Tony, call the shot. How many games do your Flyers win in against Pittsburgh?
Oh, I don't count that. Pittsburgh has Hall of Famers. Hockey's a crazy sport. Pittsburgh did look dead in the water the other night. Look, Josh, here's my thing.
Yeah.
If the Flyers that they made the playoffs, it thrills me to my marrow. If they win a series, Josh, I'll be over the moon. And if the series is over the Pittsburgh Penguins and they end their dynasty, it would just be a wonderful thing. I've got such a great deal of respect for Malkin.
Do you give it an A+ season if they win the series?
Oh yeah, for who they are and what they have. Yeah, but and then to have a young superstar, and Josh, you watch that sport. This Porter Martone guy, Porter Martone's, he look like he's any good to you, Josh?
He's pretty damn good, and my Nashville Predators could have drafted him.
Yep, they had him. He was sitting right there. Yep.
Have a great day.
I love me some Josh. I love how he detonates himself. Brian, you remember the one night I fell asleep on the air and it woke me up?
Yeah, that means you've probably been on the air too long. You stayed on too long, I'd say, when you're falling asleep. When the host is falling asleep.
Yeah, I conked out. And somebody hung up like that and it woke me back up. I had one of those. It was on the old Periscope, but I had one of those head snaps like I was one of the foreign students in the 24-hour student lounge, study lounge over at UT. When you go in there and the kids that are really there to go to school. Back in the day, a lot of the American student wasn't really there to go to school, you know. Now everybody really goes to school because they go hard in that. They go hard in the paint at UT now. But Chris Justice says, Tony, that was your best work. Yes. And that is the thing about this show. Everybody gets cracked on, too. It's like you have to be able to laugh at yourself. And I'm pretty challenged. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, we're going to post that story of what happened to me at Ingles. I'm getting ready to post it here later today because we cut it out of the show the other day. And a fella sent me a text saying, well, I'll read it to you. Because I shattered a bottle of hot sauce. I had a dollar bill sticking out of the back of my head that I didn't know was there. I mean, I really, really, really embarrassed myself. And it was bad. Okay? It was bad. I'm not going to lie to you. And it was real bad. He wrote the following to me. I sent this to my family, and my daughter said, Dad, how do you even, function? He says the following. Tony, this is WA from Hall's Crossroads. I know that you often get your chops busted by people for your hyperbole. But I'm here to confirm your grocery store story from Sunday. It's 100% legit. The entire event, as you described it on the radio. The reason I know is because I was right there on Emory Road as well. In fact, when I approached the cashier section, the employees at the first row, which is where it happened, of the cashier section, were addressing a spill on the floor. It was a reddish-brown liquid that had busted all over the floor near the register, and there was a youthful employee on the floor cleaning it up. So I decided to move on and go to an adjacent cashier. As I proceeded to go outside to my vehicle, it was then that I saw the illustrious Tony Basilio gingerly loading bags into his Mercedes. I have a old Mercedes that I drive around in. It's like a 20-year-old car. I thought, wow, Tony must be making some big money. Carnes Motor Company, really proud of him in that ride. I did get it at Carnes, and it's been a very good vehicle. But it's 20 years old. He says, nice car, by the way, till it breaks down, and then the repair bills can be, well, kind of steep on those Chariots. And thank you. He's right. Also, I enter my vehicle parked diagonally across from you. I 100% noticed your fedora hat that you had on, and I noticed what appeared to be cold, hard cash sticking out of the back of your hat. I thought, well, Tony's kind of uniquely different, so more power to him for carrying his cash that way. Anyway, I thought it was kind of a strange flex, but whatever. I thought about saying hello to you, but I decided not to since I thought you probably would like some privacy. Of course, now after hearing the story, I wish I would have spoken to you because I would have liked to have heard that story live and in person. I drove away, went home, unloaded the groceries that I brought in, and proceeded to tell my wife that I was sorry for the brown lettuce that I had just purchased, and she yelled at me. But the iceberg lettuce was brown. And to the story says, do better. Tell Laura we improvised with our lettuce and enjoyed a great meal. I hope your family did the same. Thanks for the laugh, and I appreciate what you do. W.A. Halls Crossroads. How do I put this to you? First of all, my car's like 20 years old. Secondly, I had a dollar bill sticking out of the back of my blue music cap. Thirdly, Brian Hartman, do you think I'm a bizarre individual? Yes or no?
Bizarre doesn't even begin to describe it.
Bino said he had a guy on his softball team say, is that guy really for real? And Bino said, unfortunately, yes, he is. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony B.
Hey.
Catfish Ike here, people.
Hey, my man, Ikey. How you been, buddy?
Yeah. How we doing, brother?
Brother, it's so good to hear from you. Ike, when is, excuse my ignorance, okay, but when is the best catfishing season?
Well, right now they're hitting pretty good for they go in the spawn. So that's usually the best time when they're not spawning because they're getting ready to do that. So usually around early spring and then early fall is the best time for that. So
okay.
I've done caught several already and had some eat and everything. So it's been pretty good.
Tell you what I recommend. Get one of those trays that you put on the grill, okay?
Yeah.
Get you some McCormick's soul food seasoning.
Oh, yeah. I think you told me about that once before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you did tell me about that before.
Dave, you will go back.
Yeah.
You will go back. Do you go deep water or shallow water for what you're catching right now? Somebody wants to know. Jim Bob Cooter 15 wants to know.
What's that now?
Do you go in deep or shallow water?
I go in both, wherever they might be hitting at. Sometimes you have to go deep. But,
are you using chicken livers? What's your bait you're using?
I use cut bait. Usually maybe skipjack or cut bluegill. Sometimes I put live bluegill out there.
All right.
Is what I tend to do. It's not too bad, but right now you have to kind of go with whatever they're used to eating in the water. So I usually have more of my luck on bluegill, live bluegill or cut bluegill.
Nice.
So yeah, you usually do pretty good like that. So I was on a week's vacation, went and done some fishing, so it was pretty good. I started to call you there one day while I was on the boat and everything, and didn't get to.
Where were you, Ike?
Down Cherokee Lake. It's just a little bit. It's around Morristown, Tennessee.
That's where Will Heflin's wife. They've got a boat up there, and
oh really?
Oh yeah, he hits Cherokee. It's beautiful up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's really nice. They actually call it Lake Dead Sea, but it's sort of a hit and miss kind of thing. You might go there and have luck, and then you might go there next time and not do a damn thing, So it's one of them kind of deals. But it's a nice area there. Yeah, it's really a pretty place around that area. So, but yeah, Tony, I've missed you, man. I know I've aggravated you in the past, but I love picking on you at times.
God, we're like brothers. I don't take any of that.
It's all love.
Yeah, and you get on there and give me all kinds of hell in that in that YouTube chat when you were going on that what was it, the Aguilar stuff? Man, you were on me like white on rice, Ike. I was laughing about that. You know me, man. I'm not going to sit here and the only thing I hate is when somebody calls me a liar or says I'm making something up. Those are the things that run all over me.
Right.
Because I don't do that, man. I don't have a reason to do any of that.
No. But yeah, I knew it. I thought, I know I'm pissing him off and everything. I said, but it's all good love and stuff and everything. But I thought I had to let you know, no matter what. I've been listening to the show and have to come in there in the chat sometimes and breathe a little bit of hell and stuff like that, but it's all in good fun. I ain't got nothing but love and respect for y'all, man. I love the show.
Wow.
And even though I'm not in the chat or whatever, I'm always listening to y'all. I go back on YouTube where I work at night, and I listen to your replay and stuff like that.
Hey, Ike, let me ask you a question. If you go outside the area and fish, like go out of state, what's your favorite place to fish?
Oh, gosh. South Carolina, down around Lake Moultrie. It's the Santee Cooper area is what it's called. If I go down there, if I go out of state. I've been down that way before. That's where all the big trophy catfish are at and stuff.
Nice. So you really stick with the catfishing then?
Yeah. The catfish, they put on a fight. I don't know if you've been shark fishing or not, but they say that's what shark fishing is like. Is when you hook up with a shark, it's similar to how a catfish will give you a fight and everything. So that's like Catfish Dave. He lives down. He's actually in the Knoxville area right there. He's in Kodak. He's just right outside of Knoxville. And I watch a lot of his YouTube videos, and that's how he got in started catfishing. Was he was shark fishing because he used to live in Florida. So when he moved up to the area, he said he was missing the shark fishing.
Yeah.
So he wanted to hook up with something that was close to that, and that's how he got into catfish.
See, the great thing about, I've got a friend that was a big striper fan. He loved catching those fish.
Yeah.
And then like the great Rob Lewis, he's a big adherent of, he likes to stream fish and fly fish. There's all different forms of these anglers out there. I love you anglers, man. You got the patience I don't have.
That's about how catfishing is. You got to have patience and stuff. It's definitely a time-consuming thing.
It's a great thing. You're outside. You're lowering your blood pressure. It's good for you, man.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It's definitely a stress relief because I got blood pressure issues anyways. I've got medicine I take for it. So to be on that boat and out in the water, and even if I don't catch nothing, I mean, it sucks if I don't catch anything, but just to be out there on that boat in the water, oh, man, it's relaxation right there. So it's actually pretty cool. And then I love it.
And then you tuned me in a few months ago. And we're running down Joey Aguilar, and your blood pressure's gone through the roof, man.
Yeah, it got a little high. Yeah. I still hate to happen, but at the same time, now I'm looking toward the future. So we'll see how that goes.
One thing about both of us, we both want the same thing, and we're both going to bust each other's balls on the way there.
Yeah, they sure do. But anyways, Tony, hey, Tony, one more thing before I go.
You're my man.
How come people ain't hitting that damn like button, man? I mean, what the hell?
They're a bunch of selfish sumbitches.
Yep.
Thank you, Ike. You're the man. He called it. Brian, he said it, didn't he? He said it, Bri, didn't he? How many likes do we have, Bri? You can read it. You're only looking at the YouTube chat, Bri. How many likes in there?
Actually, I'm not looking at it.
I told these people, if they don't get those likes up, did we get our 50 likes, people? Allison?
Well, it's almost 2, so I don't know what it matters now.
Allison, Matthew Sweet and Striper, that's right. Allison, did we get our 50 likes? We have 142 right now. Jim Bob Cooter says selfish. He says 302. Jim Bob Cooter, you're lying on the likes, man. You can't lie on the likes like that. I lie to like you, baby. I lie to like you, baby.
On that note, Tone, I got to roll.
I lie to like you, baby. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, Trusty.
Hey, Rusty, welcome in.
Thanks, buddy. Shout out to the great Chris Justice, who had a really good line about your best work.
Justice is served.
Great dude. He's still down there near Atlanta coaching high school ball. Go back with that guy back to when I was like in 4th grade. One of the better dudes of all time.
Small world, my brother. Small world.
Yeah, man. Hey, so the MVP seats behind home plate and that first level that wrap around both baselines, I don't know, almost to where the dugouts are. I have access to like 4 of those pretty much anytime I want them. And if I don't use them, nobody uses them. their company tickets. But the thing is, what I've noticed when I've been there is when you're in that area, you get a wristband and you get that downstairs free food area that's air conditioned and there's TVs everywhere in there and seats everywhere and free drinks and all that type of stuff. And 3/4 of the people that have those seats are in that area the whole time, that are down underneath the stadium inside watching the ball game on TV. And then they'll come out and sit in their seat, and they'll come out and sit in their seat for 5 minutes.
That's great insight.
And it's just...
And that's why they look so empty. That's why they look so empty, in other words.
Exactly why.
Wow.
Yep. People are there, but they're downstairs enjoying the climate-controlled free food, drinks, and big screen TVs everywhere. Yep. Great planning. And the students can't come use those tickets because you got to have a wristband to go by the ushers down in that area. And the ushers are great. They're super sweet. They're just doing their job. Yeah. But nobody can go sit in those seats, even though they're empty all the time. I don't know. After the 4th inning, let people come sit down there. That's one thing. And I know Danny's to blame because he's a penny pincher and all that.
Yeah.
But could we, there's people above Danny that they're the ones that need to hear this stuff, because Danny's not changing. Danny's always going to be about making money because that's kind of his job.
That's what he's judged by. That's right. That's right.
But Plowman and Boyd and those people that hired him, if they said, you know what, let's get back to fans first and the atmosphere first, and they were pushed, maybe they could get to him because he's not changing.
No, and it's a great point, because if Don Day Plowman called him and said, hey, Danny, we need to put these students behind that dugout, guess what would happen next year? They'd send a letter out, and they'd put those students behind that dugout. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Or put them down that left field line where right against the foul pole, that whole big corner that's actually seated, but it's a party area that feels like you're more there. Where they're at right now, it's just like they're in purgatory because, if they were going to put them out there, you couldn't have built something similar to the left field line that had them right on the foul line, that had them right there hugging the field with the angled slope like they do in Thompson Bowling behind the goals, angled down to where it's like tiered, and some of them are standing almost ground level against the field, and then it goes up, and everybody can see, even if they're standing. Right now, they're all standing at the same height, so if you're 10 people back, you're like the second dog in the dog sled. The view never changes.
Like the kid told me the other day, he said he brought his girlfriend, and she's 5'5", and she couldn't see anything. She see the back of the kid's head in front of her.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. That's not going to work, Rusty.
You're looking at the dog's ass in front of you.
That sucks, man.
That's it.
Yep.
Great planning.
Thank you.
Anyway, brother.
Yeah,
take care, buddy.
Great call. And that is true. Look, and here's the thing about somebody like me and somebody like Rusty that I know. Not everything that counts can be counted. It's a great adage to live by because it's true. I don't even know what value. Like Jinx Jones gives a $49.99 super chat. It says, hit the like, people, and save a life. Go adopt a dog or a cat. Keep up the good work, Tone. Hey, Jinx. I can't imagine what life would be like without my little buddy with me. Me and Laura, we get so much joy out of our dog that we adopted. And whether it's a dog or a cat or a guinea pig or something created, to have that in your house and to have it with you. And all the little idiosyncrasies of these little guys and gals that we bring into our homes. We got a little gal. The kid that found her named her Lulu. We call her Lou. L-E. He had L-O-U, L-O-U. We call her L-E-W. My daughter goes, Lou! Anyway, I so want to repeat what you just said. Which is, I don't know that I could put a price on how much I love my little doggy. And when I grew up, and here's my thing, like, I grew up next to a lady that bred cats, like had cats, and little baby cat. I love cats too. But I grew up in a house where my mom would not let us have a pet, period. She was extremely clean. If my mother saw my area here, because I do some reselling online, and I have inventory stuff. It looks like an episode of Hoarders in my garage. If she saw that, she'd have a conniption fit. She would literally call one of the dumpster companies, and she'd be out there. She probably would stay up 36 straight hours and have like the Woodstock of throwing shit away out of my garage. But I absolutely just love animals. People say, you go to the park and sit there and play music. Are you doing that show off? No. First of all, I enjoy people. It's great people watching. Secondly, I love seeing those dogs, and they love music. And it is just so fun and beautiful to hang out in the park, see the dogs. It just lifts my spirits. And I laugh when I see the dogs. Our dog is such a goofball. She's like Doberman, and she's like a hound mix. But the Doberman, she's got like the teeth missing, like the Doberman dog, the big bark. And she's literally a total goof. The other night, she was like laying on this one piece of furniture we let her lay on. And she didn't even realize she was close to the edge, and she like fell off the edge. She's like clumsy like I am. I just love them. Aw, Navy wife Allison. Shout out to Husker Chad, by the way. Our 13-year-old Bassett Murphy died. When did Murphy die? A few weeks ago? Oh, 2 years ago. He was my shadow during Chad's last deployment. Oh, man, I can't imagine that. Yeah, we had one live to be Sandy. Our neighbor of ours found her on a railroad track down in Cleveland, Tennessee. Sandy lived to be close to 18. Man, you just get so attached to them. I love dogs. Danny White, he'd probably charge him triple. I'm just kidding. Oh, man, losing animals. Oh. There's a reason why there's an old saying that says, man, you look like you just lost your dog. It hits hard. It hits hard. Some people will not go get another animal for that reason, for how bad it hurts. I'm from the it's better to love than have lost than to have ever loved. I'm from that department at Sears. CB Brent, shout out to his bulldog Stella. Lost her on 131, still gets upset how much I miss her. Listen, man, I walked by an old photo of one of our dogs, and I was telling Laura, I said, it just kind of makes me smile. And you know the thing is, Brent, you share your life with another being. You don't have to do that. Like tonight, I'm going to give our dog a little treat tonight. Like I've got some chicken that I pulled aside from something yesterday. And it's one of the only words she understands. I told her today, you going to get some chicken? Chicken. So, Zach Maney said, I love Sears. And now it's lost. Dude, when I was a kid, man, we used to sit in those wish books, those Sears wish books. And just go to town on the Sears wish book. All right, well, I love you. I got to get my work done here. That was just a prelude. That 3 hours and 10 minutes I just did with you, that takes some juice from me. I was up this morning at 7 working on a bunch of salesy stuff, and I'm going to do some more. So I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. I support you. If you get an opportunity, hit the like button if you're over on YouTube. If you aren't, check our blog out over at tclub.team. Tell 2 of your friends about what we're doing and help us continue to grow. And to my haters out there, I had a guy ask about Tyler Tanner. Let me address this real quick. Did you think the Vols were getting Tyler Tanner? I was telling people around that were keeping me informed, that were telling me they think they're getting him. I said, I'm going to believe that when I see it. Because if I thought the Vols were getting Tyler Tanner, I would have been on here saying, hey, the Vols are going to land this point guard 1. Now, I do think the Vols are getting Jukey, baby. I don't think we're getting juked out by Juke. Although Juke might juke everybody and go to the NBA and be a second-round pick, and you can't, I think plays college ball, he's playing here. But the fact of the matter remains that I always looked at Tyler Tanner as more of a symbol of what these guys are trying to do than whether or not it happened. Because in real time, when I was discussing it, I kept saying it was going to have a seismic type of impact on major college basketball, and I believe that. You imagine if those Kentucky fans would have seen the class Tennessee's put together plus Tyler Tanner? Think about that. People are already saying Tennessee's got number 1 class in the deal. Can you imagine what that would have looked like? That's why I kept using the term, seismograph, because that's the reality of it. Tectonic shifts. I give him a lot of credit. I respect that. I respect Rick Barnes' game. I appreciate it. It's not just me, having fun on here. These guys know what they're doing. They roll up their sleeves and they go and do it. And I want to see us do that in football. And people think when I say that, I'm saying that our head coach is lazy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if I thought our head football coach is lazy, I would say that. If I thought there's something wrong with him, I would say that. I would have no problem saying that if that's how I thought. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like Sean Sinclair said, do you want to put a pretty good team on the field or a great team? If you want to put a pretty good team on the field, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to put a great team on the field, start playing in the portal more. You've got the money to do that. Can you win right now? Like really, really, really win? Recruiting high school football players and sprinkling in transfer portal players? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Not unless you're recruiting Georgia's players, and we're not. And we won't be able to do that over a 4 or 5 years. We might do that every once in a while, but you're not doing that over a 5-year stretch. No offense. Because to quote a wise man, I'm out of time. I love you, and I didn't do it. Appreciate you. Peace. GBO. And trying to determine exactly what's going on where, and I'm working my sources, as they say in the trade. But here's the thing. This has been quite a ride. And it's been really interesting. And now the portal's closed, but it doesn't mean the activity's done, because it's far from it. Now you got a bunch of programs, a bunch of who's who programs in the deal that are